Happy New Year, everybody.
Welcome to 2025.
2025. Here it is. What'd you guys do for New Year's? Anything exciting? Drop it down in the comments.
Wasted, didn't you? Yeah, you dirty dog.
We did nothing.
We don't even know yet.
This is us in the past, and we haven't done anything.
Okay, let's just hop right into it. Without further ado, welcome to episode 59. Nothing goes to plan.
You know those ones? I always need a plan. I'm very type A. I need a freaking plan. If anything
Teresa
deviates from the plan.
Yeah, heavily plan orientated.
If anything deviates, I am upset.
Heavily.
Yes. You're a go with the flow type of person.
I am a fast reacting, quick responding, flow with the flow person.
Flow with the flow.
Flow with the river.
Flow with the flow.
Move with the flow.
Sure.
You know
I got some juicy stories.
This title reminds me of that movie with the dude from Ted Lasso with the RV and bringing the drugs over the border, where he puts together a fake little family.
Yeah.
I forget what that movie's called, but that's what this title.
With
like,
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, and just like nothing goes to plan, and like the original RV movie with Robbie Williams, just like nothing. Yeah, Robin Williams. Just nothing goes to plan. Just everything that just keeps getting fucked up on your trip.
One.
This is like the time that we were moving from Vienna to Italy, and we missed 2 trains in one day. Moving through our journey. We were traveling from Vienna to Trento, Italy, and we missed 2 trains along the journey. Just nothing went to plan that day for us.
Yep. I got some juicy stories, I will say.
I've got 8 stories.
Ooh.
But one of them is like 11 parts.
Jesus.
That are broken into like 4 segments. That I'm going to go first. I'm going to start with, we're going to right into the long one. It's going to take up the whole
episode.
Right away. We're going to give you guys the juiciest story of this person's life.
All
crazy journey that they've gone through. And then if we have anything left after this story, we'll go back to Teresa. And then the leftover stories we'll do on our Patreon episodes.
All right. Let's hope we get through more than 2.
Yeah, let's do that.
Read fast.
I think I'm going to have to end things with a man I love because I don't want kids. This might be long because I'm overwhelmed, so I rambled. All right.
That's enough.
So this one was posted 1 year ago, posted in True Off My Chest. I think I'm going to have to end things with a man I love because I don't want kids.
Ouch. That's rough.
My 30 female boyfriend, 34 male, and I have been together for the last 4 years. Our first date was basically our whole life stories and just talking about everything and anything, whether it be deep or not. I would say most of our relationship has been this way. Even when we fight, which has maybe only happened a couple of times, we still take a break and regroup once emotion settles. When we disagree, we talk it through. He looks at me like I'm the most beautiful person he's ever seen. He constantly tells me how lucky he is to have me and how I deserve the world. We both love to cook / clean for the other person, so we always have different games set up, and the loser gets to relax while the winner gets to pamper the loser. I know it sounds weird, but it works for us. I love this man so much, and I know he loves me just as much. Now, here's the problem. A couple months into us dating, kids got brought up. Communication is super important to me, and him, so I told him I didn't want kids. He thought I was joking because all my friends / siblings have kids at this point, and I'm the fun tia or auntie. I even put together parties for the kids and have fun theme days when I'm having one-on-one time with them. I do love kids, but I don't want any of my own. I explained that, and he said, well, maybe you haven't met the right guy. I had to sit him down and explain that while I do believe people can change, he cannot be with me expecting my opinion about kids to change. He needs to take my not wanting kids at face value instead of hoping that I will change my mind, because what if I don't change my mind? I asked him to think it through for a week or 2, and then we can circle back to the topic because at this point, we are thinking about being official. But if kids were that important to him, then we need to stop now before it gets much harder down the line. He told me later that kids are not that important to him and that he can see a future without kids in it. Fast forward to a month ago. His parents and some extended family were visiting for my boyfriend's brother's wedding. We are in the US and his family is from Eastern Europe. I've always gotten along well with his parents and his brother, plus his brother's now wife. His parents will visit a couple times a year and they've always been so kind and thoughtful. At the wedding reception, I was being introduced to all of the family. Eventually, someone asked when my boyfriend and I were getting married, and my boyfriend just winked at the question because he knew I already knew that he was planning to propose soon. He just asked way too many ring-related questions since he knows I hate diamonds, but wasn't sure the direction he should go in since I barely wear rings. He can propose to me with a ring pop for all I care. Later at one point, one of his cousins asked how I would feel about my future kid learning their native language, to which I responded, "Oh, I don't want kids, but I'm actually learning the language myself." There were a few members of the family around, including my boyfriend's parents. Not my boyfriend, though. And they all gave me the, "What the hell are you saying?" look. I didn't understand why I was getting that look, so I just awkwardly laughed and asked everyone not to tell my boyfriend I was learning the language because I wanted to surprise him. I thought it would be cute to respond to his proposal in his native language. I went looking for my boyfriend and found his brother and the bride instead. We were talking and eventually I asked, "Hey, is it weird in your culture to not have kids? 'Cause I got weird looks from your parents when I said I don't want kids." His brother proceeds to tell me that it's not weird, but that my boyfriend has always wanted to have kids, so it's probably shocked their parents to hear that I didn't want kids. Apparently, my boyfriend always wanted at least 3 kids, and he had always been super excited about the idea of having kids. I think his brother noticed the look on my face and backtracked it a bit by saying, "Wait, fuck, it's not a big deal. He changed his mind because he loves you more than the idea of having kids." On the ride back home with my boyfriend, I asked my boyfriend if he really is okay about not having kids. He sighed because apparently he had heard from his parents about what I'd said. He apologized about it and said that he did stop talking about kids since we've been together, but that his parents always assumed we would have kids. He also sometimes wondered if I will change my mind, but he doesn't think I ever will. He said that when we talked about this while we were dating, he could imagine a future without kids because he couldn't imagine a future without me. It's been a month since the wedding. I've been starting to notice little things with my boyfriend. A lot of our friends have kids, and I'm always letting my friends know that they can bring their kids over instead of having to find a babysitter. I've noticed that my boyfriend looks slightly envious when he sees our friends interact with their kids. Or sometimes I see him look slightly dejected when he sees a family with a bunch of kids. Maybe this is in my head now that I know that he's always wanted to be a dad until he met me. Maybe it's not in my head. I truly want him to be happy, but I know I don't want to be a mom. I wish I felt different and I wish I could compromise this for him, but I would never want to bring kids into this world knowing I don't want them. That's not fair to the kid. And if him being happy means he finds someone else to have kids with, I will have to live with that. He knows something is wrong because he said I feel far away lately. I think he knows why. I know I have to sit down with him and fully talk this out. Part of me feels like this conversation will lead us to breaking up because he really truly does want kids. I'm also worried that if he stays with me, he might resent me for not wanting kids like him. I just feel terrible.
This is a tough situation that I feel like a lot of people go through.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really harsh reality for some couples, especially nowadays when people and mostly women are now realizing like we don't have to have kids. That's not part of everybody's
circle of life.
Yeah. You don't have to do it because everyone else is doing it. Mm-hmm. So, from what you've told us in the story so far, I feel like there is coming back from this though. I feel like she might be jumping a little bit. It sounds like, and he said it a couple times, like, yes, he wants kids, but he wants to be with her more. So I think it's
tough because like they just recently brought it up. So it's like, is it in her head or is it not in her head of what these little tell signs that she's picking up on?
I mean, the signs could be there. Like he could still want kids, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't love her more than the thought of having kids.
That's true. Top comment. The kid/no kid issue is very real and can cause incompatibility. I think you really need to press your boyfriend on the issue. Maybe take a 2 to 3 week break from him so he can experience life without you to judge for himself should he stay with you or move on and find someone who wants children. In the end, though, you can only listen to his words, watch his actions, and probe his emotions after he sees other children or families. If he reassures you and you still have doubts, then a breakup may be the best option. OP replies and says, "Yeah, that is the plan. Just been trying to gather my thoughts about everything so that I'm thinking with my head and not my heart."
Yeah.
Teresa, I got a confession for you.
What is that?
For the longest time, you've had really stinky breath.
Oh!
But you've kind of turned it around lately. Have you been doing anything different?
Well, that's kind of mean, but I have been, actually. I've been using my new toothbrush from Quip. And most recently, my parents actually just got me a water flosser for Christmas.
So that's what it is, guys. Teresa discovered how to brush her teeth. Thanks to Quip.com. Thanks, Quip.com, for the new 360 oscillating toothbrush that's keeping Teresa's teeth clean and her breath less stinky.
I'm in love with my new water flosser. It was on my Christmas list, and I'm so glad that my parents got it for me. With braces, and I don't know if everybody around the world has this problem, but I have a permanent brace.
Yeah, I used to wonder for the longest time what was with that.
On my top and bottom 4 teeth. And it has been impossible to floss. So I've really, really wanted a water flosser for forever. And thankfully, Quip has got me covered. And now my dental hygiene game...
It's next level.
Next level. The results were 10 out of 10.
Yeah, they were. But the Quip 360 toothbrush, that's a bold and simple design that comes in multiple colors and is ultra quiet to give you a super clean brushing.
I do love the toothbrush so much as opposed to other electric toothbrushes that we've tried. There is no sound to it, and it is just amazing for my brain.
Did you also know that the toothbrush is accepted by the American Dental Association? The Quip 360 is scientifically proven to remove 11 times more plaque than a manual toothbrush and provides up to 2 times more whitening in 1 day.
I've noticed it. I've noticed a big difference.
So have
and
I.
So has Denver.
The best thing about Quip.com is if you don't absolutely love your toothbrush, you can return it within 30 days.
Thank you to Quip for coming on board, and thank you to all of you for supporting the show. If you guys want to keep supporting us, we have an exclusive offer just for ThreadTalk listeners. You can get 20% off site-wide and a free travel case and countertop stand at getquip.com/ThreadTalk. That's getquip.com/ThreadTalk. Free your mail today with 20% off site-wide, plus a free travel case and a free countertop stand at getquip.com/ThreadTalk.
All right, now back to the stories. So there is an update that comes in. 2 days after my original post, my boyfriend and I sat down to finally talk. As I suspected, he knew exactly what had been bugging me, but he didn't want to push me to have the conversation before I was ready. He started off with why he was okay with not having kids. He grew up with his parents and brother. He saw the joy that his parents got from raising the 2 of them, but he also saw how unhappy they were in their marriage. Yes, they are still together, but they are more like co-parents/roommates than an actual couple. My boyfriend was very cynical when it came to relationships growing up because he felt like he never saw enough happy couples. His parents weren't happy. His friends were in and out of relationships. He was in and out of relationships. In his head, kids would bring him and his partner happiness and a purpose in a relationship. Yes, he admitted to the absolute insanity that was his thinking, but when we started dating, he realized this and started going to therapy to help him work those feelings out, and he's been in therapy ever since. He said when he met me, I changed everything for him, and that he knew on our second date that he was going to marry me. So when months later I mentioned I didn't want kids, he was disappointed, but the main reason was because the idea of having little versions of me running around was something he had thought about for the months we were dating. And yes, he meant it when he said that he could see a future without kids, but couldn't see a future without me. That's why he has been super supportive about me looking into surgeries to prevent kids from being a possibility for me. It's why he never even brings up the possibility of either one of us changing our minds. I asked him if he was jealous of our friends with kids, and he laughed. He said that when he sees a family or sees our friends with kids, he can see that the relationship between a parent and a child is special, but the freedom that we have in our relationship, along with the extra funds we have for ourselves, far outweigh his past feelings about being a dad. He said that I was his family, and if I didn't want to increase the size of our family, that he has no problems with that because he's already so happy. He finally found the love of his life, which he never thought would happen. So he doesn't want to mess with something that is perfect. He just never brought it up with his family and was slightly concerned that they would try to pressure us. Kids are a big thing in his family. His brother already knew and obviously had no problems with it. He said he had to talk with his parents and his relatives he was closest to about it. His parents are not exactly happy, but my boyfriend admitted to me that he lied to them and said he was the one who didn't want to have kids first. He just wasn't sure what their reaction would be and didn't want me to deal with any of the negative backlash. He said if I ever feel pressured about anything ever, whether it is by him, his family, or even my family, to let him know because we are partners and we work through these things together. He isn't afraid of going no contact with anyone who makes a big deal about something that isn't any of their business. I told him that my main concern was that he was putting my happiness over his because he has the tendency to do that with people he loves, and I didn't want him to regret anything later down the line. He said he understood my concern, but that he swore up and down that these 4 years have been the happiest of his life, and the fact that I was so stressed about whether he was happy or not is further proof that we are meant for each other because I also have a tendency to put his happiness over my own. He then proposed to me with the original ring he bought the first year we were together. I didn't even know he had bought a ring before. He said he would have done it the first year, but I had made a comment that I wanted to wait at least 3 years before getting engaged, and now he is making significantly more money, so he has been looking to go all out on a new ring. But I really love the ring he originally bought. It isn't big or flashy, but it is a very unique design that is subtle and beautiful. The color is also the same color as my boyfriend's eyes, and I'm always gushing about them. He has the kindest eyes. So I told him there's no point looking for another ring because this one was already perfect.
Aww. Okay. He sounds like a really good man, and he sounds like he's emotionally intelligent, and he knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. He knows that, yes, he might want kids, but he's also okay with the fact that he's not forcing her, he's not pushing her, he's not trying to change her mind.
Yeah.
He knows what she wants too. They seem like they're in a really stable, communicative relationship. Sounds great.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, top comment on this post. Caveat. I'm a dad of 2, and this is a kid's story, but sharing because something you shared reminded me of it. Quoting, but the freedom that we have in our relationship along with the extra funds we have for ourselves. One day, my wife was driving our youngest son somewhere. He was in the back in his car seat, so this is at least 15 plus years ago because that kid just graduated college. Anyway, as they were driving along, they passed the house of a friend of ours and my wife pointed it out to her son. This friend is child-free and will always be. Our son piped up from the back. Mommy, what happens to people who don't have kids? My wife starts to panic. Oh crap. Where is he going with this? What sort of answer is he looking for? It's way too early for the birds and the bees talk. It's way too early for discussions of fertility and relationships. Crap. How do I answer this? Fortunately, our son came to the rescue. He says, are they rich? Well, crisis averted. Wife, yep, you're so smart, honey. Congrats on finding a life partner. I've been with my wife for 34 years and married for 28. It's the best feeling in the world when you work well together and are essentially two halves of a whole. I wish you the best of luck as you move forward on the next stage of your relationship.
That is so good. So true.
What happens to people who don't have kids? They get filthy, stinking rich.
They can actually spend their money on themselves.
I can totally understand why people aren't having kids nowadays, though. Like, it's so freaking expensive.
Yeah, it's always been expensive, though.
Yeah.
You have another mouth to feed, someone to put through college. It's like...
I don't have to put them through college. I didn't get college paid for.
I did.
Yeah, congrats. So...
If we ever had kids, we would pay for their university for sure.
College or dirt bikes and race cars. Like, come on, we don't need college that much. Come on. Teresa, haven't you just been hating our weather lately?
No, this is my favorite time of year. I love the winter.
Well, like me, even those who embrace that chilly weather that you seem to love, sometimes it's nice to break up the long winter nights. Sometimes I love to treat myself to a little something.
Like what?
Maybe some like fresh pair of clothes.
Yes, I have noticed that you are wearing a new outfit over there.
I don't shop very often for clothes, so when I do, it needs to be a convenient website for me to go to. And that's where I found quince.com, and I'm loving it. Just got this new outfit, and I'm in like my cozy winter wear.
You don't usually like to treat yourself. You usually find everything overpriced.
I do. I hate when I go to a website and I'm like looking for something and it's just so overpriced. That's why I've been loving this new website. Everything seems like a deal. I love how the prices are for everything I want to buy. Like cashmere sweaters under $50.
Like what I've got on right now.
That looks pretty good.
It is the coziest sweater I have literally ever owned. It is so soft. It's such a great gift also. Like $50, you cannot go wrong for a luxury piece of clothing like this.
And I'm loving these pants. They are like nice, professional, but comfortable.
You're hard to please.
And they got like a flex in them. Like they're like a little bit stretchy, but they don't look like it. I'm in love. I need another pair in a different color.
Yes, I like that we finally found a place for both of us to shop at really great affordable prices.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. And on my next shopping list, European linen sheets.
They also have home stuff, which is incredible. They have everything you need.
Yeah, and the reason they are able to do that is because they work direct with the factories. So they're able to cut out the middleman and bring the savings right to you.
Yes, and my favorite part is supporting a company that works with factories that only use safe and ethical manufacturing processes.
Love that.
Help support the show and treat yourself this winter without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/threadtalk for 365-day return and free shipping.
That's Quince, QUINCE.com/threadtalk. Make sure you get that free shipping and don't forget the 365-day return. Quince.com/threadtalk. Now, back to the stories. So the next post that this person puts out says, I feel like I'm going to crack is the title. This post was August 2nd, 2023. My fiance and I recently got engaged not too long ago. While we were making plans, deciding on rings and so on, the proposal was very spontaneous and happened months before my fiance had originally planned. I also originally planned to accept his proposal in his native language. However, due to the events that led up to the proposal, I forgot. So I decided I would just keep taking the classes, plus his brother or brother's wife will only converse with me in Polish while my fiance isn't around. Then I would surprise my fiance by giving my vows in Polish. The problem, my fiance doesn't know I now understand a lot of the conversations he's having with his family and some of his friends because I have to pretend I don't understand.
Oh my God.
This has been going on for months, even before he proposed. I feel like I'm invading his privacy because now I know he has been planning to surprise me with his originally planned proposal, but now it's just an over-the-top engagement party.
Oh my God.
He once told his mom he missed her sauerkraut soup, so for the almost 5 years we've been together, I make this dish a handful of times a year during fall/winter for him. I had called his mom up for the specific recipe too. Turns out he has always hated it, but it reminds him of home and his mom and sees how happy I get to make it for him. So he just eats it. Like I made a big pot only for him to eat and I don't like sauerkraut. Now it makes sense why he always sends half to his brother and sister-in-law who lives walking distance from us. He has been hiding my favorite candies around the house for the last 2 years. I will find my favorite candies in places I was surprised to find them in, like a random drawer here, on a shelf there. Like I get so happy and will run to him in excitement about these random candies I must have forgotten about. Nope, he just buys bags of them and will place them in spots randomly. He just loves how excited I get. I caught him telling his brother when his brother found one of them going through one of our kitchen drawers. His brother thought the whole situation was hilarious because he's in on the fact that I understood the whole exchange. He has my period in his calendar so that he can be extra mindful. Plus, get me my favorite things during the week to help keep my mood up.
Is this guy real? Oh my God.
He has always known that I lied about being a morning person. I said that when we first started dating because he always went to the gym in the morning and would invite me to go with him. 4 to 5 years later, we still go to the gym together, and while getting up at 5 a.m. is a pain for me, it's worth spending that extra time with him, especially since we are both busy people. Turns out, if I fall asleep before him, he has trouble sleeping. I snore, and I have tried everything. He has never once complained to me about it, but I still use nasal strips and have a special pillow that I thought helped. However, apparently if I fall asleep after him, he can just sleep through it because he's a heavy sleeper. So now I make a point to sleep after him. He hasn't caught on yet, I think. The last thing is something that he has told anyone who will listen. His parents, his uncles, his aunts, his brother's wife, his friend in Poland, anyone and everyone who speaks Polish. If I'm in the room and he's on the phone with them, he will always look at me with a big crazy smile and tell them that he cannot wait to marry me. Oh, I love the man so much. I don't think I can keep this straight up for a year. We are planning for a 2024 wedding. I am not good at pretending. I can't keep hiding my face or running out of the room when he's talking to his friends or family. And my birthday is coming up in a few months, so I know he'll be planning something and probably think it's safe to talk about it with some people in Polish. I'm going to crack soon. I can feel it.
Oh my God. I think I'm in love with this man.
He seems pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh, he really does. I would say maybe you could just tell him, like, it makes you feel uncomfortable when he talks in a different language around you. Like, it makes you, I don't know, like, it makes you feel like you're not included.
Maybe. You gotta be sensitive with that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
I will admit, I don't like when people talk in other languages around me.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me a headache.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it's like I try to listen to what they're saying, but then I have no fundamental understanding whatsoever what they're saying.
So why try?
But it's just something I focus in on their voice and I try to listen to their voice, but then I have no idea, no matter what language it is, I have no idea what they're saying. And then it kind of just like gives me a headache.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when my parents are talking shit about you in Italian.
Well, when they're talking shit, they say a phrase or a word. I'm talking when people are having full on conversations in another language.
Yeah.
But yeah, like whenever we travel and people are just full on talking, or like we're in the elevator or something like that, like, yeah, it kind of gives me like a bit of a headache.
Interesting.
I try not to let it faze me though. So there's an update that comes 3 weeks later. I did end up cracking. My fiance threw that surprise engagement party for us that I found out about since I've been learning his native language. It was beautiful and sweet, and he flew his family and my family out to be there as well. We did a toast during the dinner portion of the party, and I decided to do my portion of the toast in Polish, as suggested by a comment on my last post. I explained in my toast I wanted my learning Polish to be a surprise for the proposal, but since that didn't work out, I wanted it to be a surprise for my wedding vows. However, I didn't count on the fact that I would be unintentionally eavesdropping on his conversations, and what was supposed to be a surprise engagement party for me was spoiled by me. I also went on to talk about the sweet things I found out throughout my eavesdropping, excluding the bit about the sauerkraut soup because his mom was there. And I will take that to the grave, haha. And how it only further proved to me that I made the right choice by saying yes to this proposal, and that while I don't think anyone is ever really perfect, I do know that he is perfect for me. My Polish wasn't perfect, and thankfully my future brother-in-law translated everything to my side of the family. I asked him to do that earlier on. Now, here comes the absolute shock of the year. I don't know if I mentioned this in any of my other posts because there was no reason to at the time, but I am mixed black/Latina. So a big chunk of my family speaks Spanish, myself included. Granted, I usually do speak English with my family and not often Spanish, but my maternal grandparents, who were at the engagement party, do only speak Spanish. I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this. After I was done with my speech, I looked over my fiance, who had tears in his eyes, and he freaking responded to my toast in Spanish.
Oh my God.
Turns out he was learning Spanish for the last year and wanted to surprise me on our wedding day. While I don't speak Spanish as often as he speaks Polish, so no secrets are spoiled on my end, he wanted me to know that he embraced every part of my life and proved that to me by learning Spanish. There were a lot of laughs and tears shed, and both of our families made it a point to learn simple phrases in each other's languages, so that was really cute to see. All in all, I'm still planning to do my vows in Polish, and he plans to do his own vows in Spanish and English, since half my family only speaks English. I'm happy I'm not eavesdropping anymore because I did not enjoy invading his privacy despite the sweet things I didn't end up learning. So that's that. I'm just very excited to spend the rest of my life with this man.
She was like, I think you guys know where this is going. I'm like, I have no idea where this is going. I had no clue.
Right?
Oh my God. They're perfect for each other.
They sound like it.
This should have been in the heartwarming episode. Where's the twist? Is there a twist? Or is it just a lot of heartwarming stuff?
No, next post is the twist.
Oh God. Wait, but it's so good. It's so happy. I want it to stay like this.
Fortunately, I can't. So the next post comes in March 2024. I had posted a few times before on Reddit about my fiance and I, about not wanting kids, our engagement, and the love that we have for each other. For the most part, my posts have had happy endings, but this one just isn't a really happy one. Soon after my engagement, my best friend since elementary school and his wife passed away in a car accident, leaving behind their 11-year-old daughter. Amy is my goddaughter, but we do refer to each other as niece and tia. I've been there for her whole life, and she has always been one of my favorite people, and still is. It's been a really hard several months since the accident, and everyone is having a tough time. I spent most of my life with my best friend in it, then without him. Our parents are best friends, due to us being friends first. I referred to his mom as Mama, and dad as Papa, and he did the same with my parents. My siblings were his siblings. He was an only child. We went to a lot of events and concerts together, so multiple times since he's passed, I've subconsciously bought him a ticket, forgetting that he wouldn't be able to use it. I introduced him to his wife in high school. We were the only two openly nerdy cheerleaders at our school. They got pregnant young, and I was there to help, and even went so far as to stop eating foods she couldn't eat because I could tell being pregnant was not fun for her. I was at the hospital because she was scared and asked me to be close by. I was the first non-blood family member to see Amy. I say all of this because him and his family are indeed my family. So them passing was a huge hit for everyone, especially for Amy. Now, the month when it happened, Amy went to stay with her grandparents. Luckily, we all stay in the same big city, so the farthest anyone of the family is from one another is about an hour at most, and that's just due to traffic. The issue, though, is her grandparents are much older, in their 70s, compared to my parents, 50s. So while they do very much love her, they are already at the point where they themselves need help. Plus, they just lost their only son and daughter-in-law. Amy's mom's parents are at a state, and they also didn't believe moving her to them and away from everyone she knows was the right thing either. Her grandparents overall didn't think Amy staying with them was the best for her, and they relayed that to my parents, who then mentioned this to me. So, after talking with my fiance about it, as well as talking about it in therapy, which included me, my fiance, and both of our therapists, we came to the conclusion that we would be happy to take her in since we are financially capable, have the space, and we do also love her so much. Before the accident, she was realistically at our house at least 3 times per week. She was the reason why I even have an art room, since it is an activity we always did together. Even at 11, she's a fantastic artist. When we approached her grandparents, they were completely on board with the idea, and I do think that part of them had hoped we would take her without them asking us directly, hence the comment to my parents. However, when we had broached the idea to Amy, she was hesitant. It turns out that she was aware that I never wanted kids, and is afraid that I will hate her for having to raise her. It 100% broke my heart that she felt that way, and I tried everything to convince her that was wrong. In the end, I told her the truth. I will never be able to replace her mom and dad, and I have no plans to. Her parents made me her godmother because they knew I would love and care for Amy the way they loved and cared for her. I could never hate her. My fiance even pointed out that I was the one who had the idea to foster her. But I also had to stress to her that this is a new situation for all of us. We are all grieving together and we are all jumping into the new living situation together. So there will be mistakes, but there will also be a lot of love. We also put her in therapy, which she has been very hesitant about, but after finding out that my fiance and I are both regularly in therapy, she felt a lot more comfortable. My fiance has been great through all this and my absolute rock. He was also very close to my best friend. My best friend was going to be his groomsman and was the second person my fiance asked after he asked his brother to be the best man. My best friend was the type of person who will see something and say, "This looks like something so-and-so would like, so I'm going to buy it for them." So some days I will catch my fiance staring at one of those many gifts for a long time. Or he will say something like, "I hope they both knew how much I love them." We hold each other tighter now when we hug and kiss longer than before. When I asked about Amy living with us, my fiance was shocked. I wasn't sure how he felt since change was happening lightning fast with the engagement, then the accident, and now with Amy. So I didn't bring it up again until he did a week later with, "I thought about it and I think it would be good for all of us, but let's just get our therapists together to make sure we aren't jumping the gun because we love her." Amy moved in right after Thanksgiving. All the families got together for the holidays with her to remind her that she is never alone. She has her mom's family. They're out of state, but they call often. Her dad's family, my fiance's family, who are out of the country too, but minus my fiance's brother and his wife. And let's not forget all of our friends and their families. There was a lot of crying, but a lot of laughing too. Her living with us is a huge adjustment, but nothing we can't handle. She's always been a sweet girl and very bubbly and loud. Since the accident, she obviously has been a lot more withdrawn and quiet, but I am seeing sparks of herself come back briefly and slowly. We had to switch her therapist a few times, but this current one is definitely helping a lot. Amy really likes her too. Her grades did slip a bit, but my fiance has made it a point to do homework with her every single day, and it made her cry the first few times he did it. He asked her if she wanted him to stop, but it turns out that it just reminded her of her dad, so it really meant a lot that her TO was so willing to help her too. I was expecting some rebelling, but that hasn't happened. Yet, lol. Actually, she has been doing the absolute most. She would clean up after us before we had a chance to do it ourselves and try to do things for us that seemed a little out of character. After some prodding, it turns out it was because she was afraid we would get rid of her if she upset us or did something wrong. We have stressed that in no way has that even crossed our minds. We are here for her, and unless she wants nothing to do with us, we will continue to be here for her through the good and the bad. But let me tell you, I cried so much that night, feeling terrible that she felt that way. I want her to know that our love is unconditional, and it always has been. We are also in the process of setting up a trust for her. Her parents left behind money, and there is money coming in from their insurance policies too, so all of that is going in that trust for her. I will also help supplement this trust, plus my fiance, even though I stress that he doesn't need to. Neither myself or my fiance will touch this trust. When she turns 18, she'll have access to use the money for college if she decides to go, and a set amount will be available every month to live on. If she decides not to go, then she'll still have access to a set amount every month. Side note, we would prefer she go to college and will encourage it, but her dad didn't go to college and did well as an artist, and we see that she has talent, so we just want to be supportive of any decision she makes. When she turns 21, she will have access to the full trust to use as she wishes, but we will do our best to ensure she is responsible with it when the time comes. At the end of the day, she will be an adult, and we have to trust that she will be responsible when she has access to the money. I also want to say we didn't come to the decision on our own. We consulted with 4 sets of grandparents, and this was what we all thought was the best approach, as well as help from a lawyer. When Amy is a little older, we will discuss this with her, but for now, she's so young and dealing with a lot. Some nights I sleep with her in bed, with my fiance sleeping on the floor by the bed, because she cries herself to sleep and she feels so alone. I don't know if that feeling will go away anytime soon. I think about how I'm in my 30s and I still can't imagine not having my parents. So I really have no idea what she is feeling. Best I can hope for is that I can help the pain just a little bit. Amy's mom was going to be my bridesmaid, and I was going to have Amy be the flower girl, but I think I'm going to ask Amy if she would prefer to be my bridesmaid. Amy looks so much like her parents, and I see so much of their personalities in her. A part of me feels like having her up there with me will make me feel like her parents are up there with me too, and I never once imagined getting married without either one of them by my side. All planning stopped the moment of the accident for the reason, and now even typing this has me crying that they won't actually be there. But also, that's a lot of pressure to put on Amy. I don't want to tell her all that. I do want to give her the option to be my bridesmaid if she wants, and if she doesn't want to, then that's okay, because she is still going to be part of the wedding. I won't even bring this up for a while, because I'm still not in a headspace to plan the wedding right now. There is no real reason why I'm posting this. I've tried a couple of times to write out what happened, but each time I broke down and deleted it. I think I just want to vent and feel better. Maybe to get validation that we are doing the right thing and not messing Amy up. One step at a time, I guess.
You're absolutely doing the right thing. This was like a roller coaster of emotions. Oh my gosh. I was literally like, where's the twist? And this is a big twist. This is a real...
Not going to plan.
This was not part of the plan. You can't plan for this. This is tragic stuff happens and people's lives shift at the blink of an eye. It's crazy, but no, you're most definitely doing the right thing for Amy. And I don't think you're making her feel like you don't want her. I think you're doing everything in your power to make her feel comfortable and safe in your own home. And maybe it'll just come with time, where she gets those bad thoughts out of her. But she's also in a very vulnerable and sad space. Like, she lost her parents. There's so much going on for this poor girl. So
yeah,
all you can do is just be there to support her and keep reassuring her.
Literally.
Keep reassuring her. Keep telling her you love her unconditionally. Like, nothing will ever change, and hopefully that'll be enough.
That's tough. There's a comment that says, I of course echo all the sentiments already said in the comments, but I'm stuck on Amy crying herself to sleep and being all alone. Have you thought about getting her a pet? I'd say a dog, but a cat or even a rodent would help. They give kids someone to talk to and someone to look after, instead of being the kid who needs to be looked after. And they teach responsibility. Could be just what she needs, something to snuggle at night and something to love unconditionally. And OP replies and says, it's like you were reading my mind. We were thinking about getting her a rabbit because her parents' nickname for her was Bunny. I grew up with a rabbit, so I understand the pros and cons. Plus, Amy is so tender in the way she approaches all animals, so I know she won't be rough with a bunny. Also, our state just has an overwhelming amount of rabbits, and most get euthanized due to the shelters being overpopulated. So I feel like rabbits need a lot more love than they get. Anyways, my fiance and I have been toying with this idea, and I feel like your comment is a sign.
I didn't even think of that, but that's a great idea.
It gives them someone to talk to, right? Like when you're a kid, you always talk to your pet, right? They become your friend.
I never had a pet as a kid.
Oh, I had cats growing up, so I always talked to the cats. Totally talked to the cats, 100%. They were my friends. And yeah, someone to look after.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And then OP does reply to a longer comment, and she says, thank you for all the advice. We are in the process of legal guardianship already, with the help of the grandparents. Adoption is something we don't want to push or force until she is ready, or if it is something she wants. We don't want too many changes to be thrown at her because there have been so many in such a short period of time, so we also try to keep everything the same, including her pediatrician. We already have pictures of her and her family up too. I have a wall full of pictures of family and friends, and Amy's dad and mom are frequent and permanent fixtures on that wall. I also gave her permission to add any pictures she wanted up, whether it's her family or friends, and I've noticed over time that she's been adding to the wall, so I've taken some pictures down to make room for her. I originally gave her the guest bedroom, but I noticed she really spent a lot of time in the art room that I have at my place. So after talking to her, I bought a bed and furniture for that room as well as a lock for privacy. She prefers the door open though, and that's her new room. She's allowed to paint on the walls and draw and do whatever she wants to that room. Also, don't worry, it's well ventilated. She's having people over for the first time this coming weekend, so I'm meeting with some parents beforehand. I'm nervous but really excited to see that she's opening up more now. Thank you again for this, and I appreciate the parent brain.
That's great. I don't know whether to be happy or sad about this one, honestly.
Yeah.
I just feel overwhelmed with emotion.
Right?
I feel like I want to cry, but I don't know if it's like a happy or sad cry, honestly.
So there's an update that comes 5 months later.
Okay.
This is the final update.
Okay.
It's been a while and people keep reaching out to check in, which I sincerely appreciate. So an update might be warranted. It won't be exciting at all, just where we are all at right now. First, I want to thank this community for the kind words of encouragement and concern for Amy. It's heartwarming, to say the least. To receive such support from strangers, there were so many comments that I got very overwhelmed and stopped responding. But I read every single one, and even if I didn't respond, I truly appreciate every single one of you. I just get really shy after a certain point, even though this is all anonymous. Second, a lot of people were really focused on that trust. I commented on my previous post about it, so I'll add it here. Trust me, we are aware that 21 is still mentally really young. We consulted with all the grandparents regarding the trust, and most of them wanted to give her a lump sum at 18. The compromise was that a lump sum would be given at 21, with her having sort of an allowance from 18 to 21. I will also have her set up with our lawyer and financial advisor when she turns 18. Plus, myself and fiance will always do our best to guide her. But she will be an adult at that point, so all we can do is give her all the tools to help her make the best decisions for herself when the time comes. We can always change the rules of the trust if need be, but that is something that will be decided as a family. Right now, we are happy with where we landed. Now, on to the update. David is my husband now. One night, we were talking and we just didn't feel comfortable having the wedding this year, but we also didn't want to wait to be married. Life is short. So we went to the courthouse with Amy to make it official. We were having the wedding next year to make it official, lol. We are still in therapy, both individual and family. We are also in a support group for children who have lost parents, and Amy seems to be doing really well in. Amy is now 12. It was her first birthday without her parents, so I wish I could say it was an extremely happy occasion. This year has been a lot of firsts without them, and we will continue to have a lot of firsts without them. But she swears that despite crying a lot of the day, understandably, she wouldn't be able to plan the day better herself. So, a bittersweet success. Special mention. Amy has a best friend of 5 to 6 years, Monica, who I've known since she was 7. Monica is lovely. She's a bit sarcastic, which I find hilarious, and is a kind soul. According to Amy, she tried to distance herself from Monica because she felt like she was too sad to be around and didn't want to be a burden. Monica bussed herself over to our house and basically told Amy to knock it out and that she decides when Amy is too much, which will apparently never happen because Amy is her favorite person. I was always Team Monica, but that day solidified the fact that I would ride at dawn for her. We ended up getting Amy 2 rabbits as well. Why rabbits, you ask? Well, her parents' nickname for her was Bunny, and we were already planning on getting some kind of animal companion, so we landed on bunnies. Plus, our state has an overwhelming number of bunnies, and most get euthanized due to overpopulation, so they need all the love they can get. Why 2? Bunnies are social creatures and are happy being raised with another rabbit. Amy is obsessed with the bunnies, who she has named Paint and Chalk. After showing her the ropes and doing her own research, she has completely taken over any and all care for them, despite us offering several times. She even has a space in the fridge labeled buns for the fresh greens that she cuts up every morning to give them. She decorated an area in her room for them because they will be in her room at night, but they are allowed to venture around the house during the day, after we spent a full day bunny proofing. Amy has been very happy with them, and Paint even sleeps on the bed with her now, with Chalk only sometimes sleeping with her. It also means we are no longer sleeping in her room with her, and only a handful of times has she crawled into bed with us, like on Mother's Day and Father's Day. We are leaving for a trip to Europe/Asia next week. David and I love to travel, but I actually start to get irritable when I don't travel for a while. David jokes that I always need my fix, lol. It's a 3-week trip starting in Poland to spend time with David's family for a week and then to Asia from there. The plan was for Amy to be with us for the full 3 weeks, but she really pushed back, and we were confused about that. She only wants to go for the first week in Poland to meet David's family. Side note, his family adore her and has planned a "you're stuck with us forever" party for her. Whenever we asked about the rest of the trip, she said she didn't want to go and that we should go without her. If she didn't want to do something, we get it and we don't want to force her. Understanding the why was tough for me. Does she not like traveling? No, she enjoys it. Is she afraid? No, she likes flying and thinks it's cool to see new places. Is it too much time away from home? No, she's cool with a long trip. So why doesn't she want to go? She just doesn't. In family therapy, the trip came up. Finally, her reason for not wanting to join us for the rest of the trip came up. She feels like David and I are prioritizing her too much and taking her feelings into account more than we should. She feels like we aren't prioritizing our relationship or even our other friends and family. She feels like she's preventing us from doing stuff because we keep thinking about her first. I want to make this very clear. While David and I are prioritizing her and 100% take her feelings into account when we plan things, we still very much prioritize each other. We have date night every week. If we do cancel, we make up for it. Our date nights did stop for a few months after Amy moved in with us, but that was just because we needed to adjust. She spends the night at Monica's every week, and that's usually when we do date night, and we do the same for Monica's mom every week. We also go to the gym together every morning. I'm not a morning person, but I am for David, and we communicate throughout the day. But she made a very good point about our friends and other family. It's been hard to balance a kid in the mix, and we have been a little neglectful. Sure, our closest friends and family usually just come over to our house and aren't shy about being themselves around Amy, but there are events that have been missed by prioritizing Amy. I'm not saying that we made the wrong choice, but she's highlighted that we need to start taking care of our other relationships now that she feels safer with us. Amy really is the greatest kid. Even though it hasn't been a full year since they passed, she has changed so much. I wish she didn't have to grow up as fast as she did, and I hope we can preserve some of her childhood, but I know her parents would be so proud of her. I'm so down proud of her. We tell her that all the time, and I really don't think she grasps just how proud we all are of her. Anyways, we still stress we would love to have her on the trip with us, but she said we should have that time for ourselves. So we decided to leave this trip as is. My parents will come with us for that first week in Poland, then they will fly back home with Amy, with her floating between all the grandparents while David and I are traveling. We will video call her every day to check in. We are already making more of an effort with our friends and family. Amy is also spending more nights with her many grandparents, which she has been loving because, quote, "I'm really lucky that I have 4 nanas and 4 papas." David is absolutely killing the parent role too. He has been more hands-on with Amy's schooling. He's the one who has been handling teacher/school stuff and pickups. I do the drop-offs. He has the contact information and has made better connections with the other parents of all the kids in her class, plus all of her friends' parents. He's been joking about joining the school's version of the PTA, but I don't think he's joking, lol. He's definitely the extrovert of the two of us, so it isn't surprising. I could probably go on for pages and pages about David just being the absolute best, but I already feel like this update is super long. I don't know how I would have done any of this without his love and support. While neither one of us is perfect, we are perfect for each other. It's honestly crazy to me that I can still love him more and more each day. Like, how is that actually even physically possible to love someone this much? Is this even healthy? I digress, lol. I think I'm doing okay. Just like Amy is dealing with a lot of firsts without her parents, so am I. At first, I didn't think it was fair for me to even grieve, since Amy's situation is just a whole other level than my own. But my therapist had to remind me not to compare my grief with hers, because it is just different. I sometimes imagine what my conversation with Amy's dad my best friend, Leo, would have been like if I told him I'm adopting this 11/12-year-old girl because her parents were my closest friends. He always understood why I didn't want kids, and he was so supportive about it when others disregarded my feelings. I wonder if he would have talked to me out of it or if he would have encouraged me to do it. He 100% would have been part of the village of people supporting me whether he agreed with my decision or not. I just wish I knew what his thoughts would have been about this whole thing. I miss him so damn much. But I'm also really lucky to have David and Amy. I don't know who said it, but they said it best. Quote, if you want the rainbow, you just gotta put up with the rain.
Oh. I don't have words.
Same.
I feel...
That was a journey.
That was a journey. I feel happy, sad, fulfilled. I don't know. I feel that was a nice post.
That was good.
I'm so glad everything turned out well.
All right. Yeah.
And it seems like they have a great family.
Good support system.
Everybody. They have a great village behind them. Truly. And even Amy, she's 12 years old and she's already self-aware that she's like, you guys need to prioritize other relationships.
Yeah, that's a strong kid.
That is a very,
and
socially intelligent, emotionally intelligent kid. I feel like she's really smart.
And a top-notch village.
Yeah. Wow.
It's tough to move on from that one. Back over to you. I think
that was an hour.
I'm not going to talk for the rest of the episode. I took the first half of the episode. You can do the second half of the episode.
Sounds good.
And you can just all the rest. 4 or 5 in a row for you. Go.
This one comes from AITAH. I told my sister's husband she was trying to get pregnant behind his back and ruined their marriage. Am I the asshole? 33 female. I come from a family where I'm the oldest of 3 sisters. I'm also a wife and a mama to a rambunctious 5-year-old girl. My youngest sister, Emily, 27 female, has always wanted kids. But when she married her husband, Toby, 30 male, I was informed they were not planning on having children. I was put off, but thought it was a decision they made as a couple. A few weeks ago, I met Emily for our monthly girls' night out. After a few drinks, she admitted to me that she's always wanted to be a mother, and Toby kept saying no due to his childhood background. She said she's heard of men not wanting kids in their 20s, but changing their mind as they mature, and always thought Toby would do the same. But he's remained adamant that he did not want any. This is kind of similar to the last story.
Yeah.
Didn't even do this intentionally. She then told me that she had her IUD taken out, so they have been using condoms while she's choosing her next birth control option. I was shocked to hear that she was taking used condoms to try and get pregnant in secret.
Jesus.
I was completely taken aback and told my sister that what she is doing is the female version of men poking holes in condoms. I said she needs to stop immediately, and what she was doing was crazy. My sister blew my concern off and said he was just really great with other kids, and she said she knows Toby will be a great dad. She then laughed it off and changed the subject. The next day I confided in my husband. He was disgusted and said that what she is doing is unacceptable and said I can't let her continue doing this. I called Emily and said that I was freaked out about what she told me and wanted her to promise that she would stop trying to get pregnant without Toby's consent. Emily got defensive and said I didn't understand the situation because my husband has always been excited about kids, even more than me. She said she made a mistake bringing it up to me and that I needed to drop the subject because it's her life. A week after the phone call, I still couldn't let it go. I reached out to her husband behind her back and asked to grab a coffee. I tried to keep it vague that he should talk to her more about the idea of kids because I don't think she was being honest with him. We did some back and forth, but he still wasn't getting it. I finally spilled the beans that I think she's trying to get pregnant, and he kept pressing on how/what I knew. Once the condom thing came out, he looked sick and quickly excused himself. An hour-ish after, Emily began to blow up my phone with missed calls and texts freaking out on me and calling me all sorts of terrible things. I finally picked up one of her calls and she was hysterical on how I ruined her marriage and that Toby had thrown out the word divorce during their fight. She screamed that I'm jealous of her focus on her career and wanted to be the only one with kids because my whole personality is being a good-for-nothing stay-at-home mom and it's the only thing I've ever achieved. This broke my heart and I couldn't listen anymore, so I hung up, turned off my phone, and started sobbing. After this, Emily got a hold of my family to blame me for turning Toby against her and that I'm causing her to get divorced. My mom, who's kind of like the matriarch of the family, told me that while what Emily did was not great, a lot of men do change their minds, like my dad did once they accidentally got pregnant with me, and what I did was not my place and is unforgivable. I've since been uninvited to Christmas, and my family has either been against me, cold to me, or uncomfortable around me. Only my husband has been on my side and told me what I did was the moral thing. I don't know what to do. I really thought I was doing the right thing, but everyone seems to hate me now. I don't know how to fix this and I really need help. I really wasn't trying to ruin her marriage, but it feels like my whole family is blown up. I feel like I've made a terrible mistake. Do you think I was wrong?
Yeah.
You do?
Bro, she's the asshole.
Really?
But like, I've since been uninvited from Christmas. Okay, yeah, you blew up their marriage and none of your family wants to be around you. So are you really surprised you were uninvited from Christmas?
Okay, that aside,
I think she did the right moral thing.
Okay.
Yes. But she's still the asshole. She's the asshole to all of her family.
Why her family?
What do you mean? That's the only people that she cares about. It's the only people that are in this beside her husband.
But why her family? She was doing this for her brother-in-law.
Yeah. Against her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because her sister is being a psycho.
I agree. But then Psycho goes and complains to the other family. And what did Psycho do to sister? Nothing. But sister did something to Psycho. So therefore, I can totally and easily see how all of her family is making her the pariah and making her the asshole. Because
I don't.
She kind of is the asshole.
I don't. I disagree. I disagree.
Okay. Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
I know what you're
This
gonna
is
ask.
Unge and Elio.
Yeah.
And you go and tell Elio.
Yeah, I would.
You don't think that Unge is then going to go to your mom and be like, Teresa did this to me.
That's fine.
And you don't think your mom's not going to be upset with you a little bit?
I'm not saying that. They can be upset with her.
I'm just saying I can understand this. I'm not surprised. I'm very not surprised.
But you're calling her the asshole.
Yes. Morally,
No.
not the asshole. To her family, she's the asshole.
I don't agree.
It's not really her place.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I feel like it's not really her place. And what she's doing is extremely fucked up.
Yeah.
But as a guy and a woman, when you have sexual intercourse with someone, you are taking and you are under the understanding of the risk that you are taking. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Didn't make sense.
Whenever I've had sex with somebody, my whole life, whatever, I've been under the understanding that yes, there is a chance that a pregnancy could happen.
Okay, but she is...
I understand. I know. Wait, let me finish. Even though the person is on birth control, an IUD, condoms, any of that stuff, pulling out, I understand that there is a chance that you're going to get pregnant, and I'm okay with that. I'm just saying what she's done here is just, it is extra fucked up.
But if she fooling her husband.
Cool. But that's her relationship. If she turned out to actually get pregnant as a dude, you gotta be like, okay, I knew there was a 0.5% chance that you could have got pregnant. Now, what are the steps that we do going forward and stuff like that?
Okay, I can't see your side.
No?
So I'm gonna move on. Top comment. Maybe she got the idea from your mother, as your father didn't want kids until you came along. Your birth maybe wasn't an accident.
Well, maybe her mom gave her the fucking idea. Maybe her mom told her about it. Secret mom tip.
Second comment, not the asshole. And you may want to wonder if your mother gave her ideas. Third comment, not the asshole. Fourth comment, not the asshole. Fifth comment, not the asshole.
I'm not on board. I can understand morally, sure, you are not the asshole. But did you really expect to do all that?
That's not the point.
I don't care.
That's not the point.
I don't care. Did you really expect to do that and then to have all your family not be mad at you? It seems like she's like, I don't understand why they're mad at me. I'm uninvited from Christmas. My family has been cold against me. They're uncomfortable around me. No wonder they're uncomfortable around you. They don't want to tell you anything because they think you're going to fucking rat them out. I'm not surprised, bro. I wouldn't want to tell you nothing no more. I wouldn't want to tell you that I've been eating the cookies off the plate when I shouldn't be because you're going to rat me out to whoever the cookies were for. You know what I mean?
No.
You're going to rat me out that I ate Santa's cookies. Like, no.
What are you rambling on about? Let's freaking move on.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't trust her for anything.
Okay. Next. You're going to get hate. I can't wait.
Yeah. Maybe
I can't wait.
Maybe I just have this bias because, you know, if it was my sisters, I would have kept my fucking mouth shut.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to get hate from everybody but Cat Madison. They're going to be like, thanks, have my back. Don't matter what your fucking shit in your closet is, that door is staying locked.
Okay, next.
Okay, next.
Go.
No, you go. You got to do like 3 in a row.
Actually?
I just talked for a fucking hour.
You want me to go again?
Yeah.
But don't you have 7 stories
I
too?
don't care.
Okay.
I just did 4 stories.
Okay.
Freaking, actually, no, I did 6.
I didn't tell you to do that.
I did 6 posts in one.
I didn't tell you to do that.
I know, but we just said that you were going to read a couple in a row.
I thought you were joking. Am I the asshole for having second thoughts about marrying my fiance after I learned about what she did 10 years ago?
Does that have anything to do with kids or birth or pregnancies?
I don't remember. I do remember. This is from 5 months ago.
This is the first one on the list.
Yeah.
So this one got added to the beginning of this category.
I don't remember this story. My fiance and I got engaged last month, and we've been in a relationship for 4 years. I was very excited about marrying her and having her as a life partner until I learned something recently, which is making me have second thoughts. To provide some more context, my fiance has always seemed a bit nervous around my sister. I asked my fiance about it, and she just said they were high school friends. When I asked my sister, she too said the same thing, but she was always a bit cold to my fiance. This carried on the entire time we were dating, and my sister was always somewhat cold to my fiance. When I told her I proposed and was engaged, she congratulated me, but she didn't seem too excited or thrilled for me, which surprised me because we were always each other's biggest supporters and well-wishers. But I did not think too much of it, and was really excited that I was engaged and was going to marry the love of my life. However, last week, my sister called me for a serious chat. She said she always wanted to get it off her chest, but that she didn't want to interfere in my relationship, but that she felt I had the right to know before marrying my fiance. She told me she was distant friends with my fiance in high school, but that friendship was broken after her boyfriend had cheated on her with my fiance. She said my fiance knew about their relationship, but she still chose to hook up with her boyfriend. I was a bit shocked because I remember consoling my sister for a few months after her boyfriend cheated on her. I just didn't know that the person he had cheated on with was my fiance. The next day, I asked my fiancé about it, and she fully admitted to it, but she was also in tears. She said that it was a horrible mistake she made in high school, and she felt guilty about it, and that she is a completely changed woman, and that experience taught her so much. While I do believe my fiancé that she is a changed woman, and that she is not the type to cheat, I am just having second thoughts about everything. I still remember the hurt my sister felt in high school, and to now know that my fiancé was responsible for the hurt, it makes me look at her in a different light. Am I the asshole for having second thoughts about marrying my fiancé?
Just like no assholes here. Like I'm not like you're not like
Yeah, that's fair.
You're like justified having second thoughts. Do I think this needs to be a why you need to leave her and break up? No, I think you can continue. My question from my sister would be like, 4 years, bro. 4 years. Maybe after 6 months, you could have been like, oh, she's sticking around. Here's the heads up. Maybe 1 year. Oh, she's actually sticking around. Here's the heads up. Maybe even 2 years. Oh, Second Christmas, she's still here. Maybe it's finally time I admit to it. 4 years, man. Come on. I'm not mad at you for any of it. I'm just, but like, you should have just told me sooner, please.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have changed anything, but it's like, you shouldn't have been holding on to it for so long.
Yeah, I don't know why she would have kept it for so long. And maybe she just kept thinking like, oh, it's nothing serious. They're going to break up soon.
That's what I mean. And now, I'm like, now that you're engaged, oh, I need to tell someone because it's getting serious. Bro, it got serious 3 years ago.
Yeah. Top comment, why didn't your sister tell you this information when you started dating this girl? It doesn't make sense. Second top comment, not the asshole. We all do stupid stuff in high school we are not proud of. People change over 10 years. I would ask her why she did not bring this up. Good luck. That's another thing.
I mean, I don't, like, people change, and she's probably ashamed of it, too. So,
But
I can understand.
As the girlfriend,
that's
though,
true.
she should have told him.
Like, what happened between why the sister? Yeah,
She
both of them.
She kind of kept it from him.
Both of them should have. That changes things in my mind. That she should have admitted it as well. She took her 4 years and she never even said it.
Yeah.
So I feel like she probably had more of an obligation to admit it than his sister did.
Also, like, wouldn't you want to get ahead of it? Like, worrying that maybe your
His
sister-in-law
is gonna keep saying something.
is gonna say something first. Like, wouldn't you want to be the first one to break the news to him?
That challenges my thought process the most. Why didn't the fiance say it?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that either. I feel like that would be more of a reason to not trust her than this act that she did 10 years ago. I feel like, yeah, people can change. Like,
Totally.
she's not, like, it's high school. Like,
And she
people
learned
are
from
dumb
it. Yeah,
and
like,
young.
totally.
But the fact that she kept it from him and was, like, never planning on telling him,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. That proposal did not go to plan.
Yeah. Truth bomb dropped.
Craziness.
Do you want me to go again?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'll do kind of a long one. There's going to be a trigger warning for stalking, obsessive behavior, invasion of privacy, and verbal abuse for talks of sexual assault as well. Title is My 21 Female Best Friend's 23 Female Fiance 29 Male is extremely inappropriate towards me. Throwaway because one of the people involved knows my personal account. I'm at a loss for how to go about handling the situation in an appropriate manner. Any kind of advice would be greatly appreciated at this point. To make this easier, let's call my friend Kate and her fiancé John. I met Kate during my sophomore year in high school through mutual acquaintances. We became very close, so naturally I was devastated when she moved several states away after graduating. Despite the distance, we kept contact and remained as good as friends as ever. About 2 years ago, my family happened to take a vacation in a very close proximity to her new home, so we excitedly planned to meet. It felt amazing to see her again. We both dashed out of cars and hugged and squealed like stereotypical best friends. We hung out all evening and caught up with one another in person. Also, I had the chance to finally meet her fiancé of 1 year. I had heard only great things about this guy, and he seemed very pleasant. Shortly after returning home, I received a text message from an unknown number, John. He thanked me for stopping by to see Kate, saying that I really lifted her spirits, and he hadn't seen her so happy in a long time. Understanding the personal issues Kate has been struggling with lately, I told him I was glad to have helped. I assumed Kate had given him my number and didn't think much else of it. John would text me here and there about little insignificant things. He'd mention a movie him and Kate were about to see and ask my opinion, or suggest to me a fun new video game they'd bought. I would answer his questions or respond to suggestions, but never carry on a conversation beyond the original topic. John would attempt to keep me talking, but I always dropped off, due in part to me not being very big on texting. More than a year after seeing Kate, I received a very late-night text from John saying, "I miss you." Assuming he had sent this to me by mistake, I ignored it. Fast forward to a month or so ago. I took a weekend trip to visit Kate. We had been planning this together for a while and was super excited to spend some much-needed girl time with her. I had been anticipating a chill weekend with my best friend, but nothing could have prepared me for the Twilight Zone shit I was about to walk into. Kate and John picked me up from the airport, and I was made to feel uncomfortable almost immediately. John had extended his arms for a hug upon my arrival, which I thought nothing of and accepted. He held me a bit too tightly and a bit too long and then commented on how hot I looked. Not nice or even pretty. Hot. I sort of just laughed awkwardly and looked towards Kate, who seemed to not be paying attention at the moment. I pushed this aside, chalking it up to a social fluke on his part, and enjoyed the rest of my day with them. The daylight hours went smoothly, save for John suggesting several times that we all get drunk that evening. Not being a drinker, I declined, only to have him get a little pushy with it. I politely reaffirmed my opinion, and he eventually dropped it. After returning to their home, the three of us hung out in the family room and watched a bit of television. We all began talking and somehow came to the topic of pregnancy scare Kate had told me about a few months prior. John proceeded to tell me how stupid Kate was for the way in which she worried over a possible pregnancy. He said that he had told her several times that it was hardly possible and to stop being such a fucking spaz over it. He went on to tell me that it was her own fault for forgetting her birth control and that it was bullshit for her to expect him to use a condom. I was entirely thrown off at the way he raised his voice and talked so rudely about my friend. I defended her, saying that it was entirely a legitimate thing to worry about and that if she prefers that he wear a condom in order to be safe, that he should respect her wishes. He only laughed at me and Kate stayed totally silent during the entire interaction. John then asked if I wanted to sleep in the bed with him and Kate rather than in the guest room, which I found totally strange. I declined the offer and went to bed. The following morning, Kate and I had made plans to go shopping. She mentioned John wouldn't be with us because he had to work, which I was grateful for. Before leaving the house, however, John stopped me and said, "You're a very heavy sleeper." Confused, I gave a weird look and asked what he meant. He went on to say, "You're a heavy sleeper. You don't even wake up when people touch you." Now, normally, I would have interpreted this as someone possibly trying to rouse me earlier by tapping my shoulder or something along those lines. But the way in which John was smirking at me and the inflection and emphasis he had put on the word touch caused me to think otherwise. I asked John what the fuck he was talking about and he only laughed, saying it was nothing. Now, I happen to take some relatively strong sleeping pills, which Kate is aware of. Those knocked me out pretty hard, but I believe I would have woken up given the chance that someone entered my room or touched me inappropriately. So I highly doubt anything actually happened, but the possibility of him groping me in my sleep makes me sick. Actually, the fact that he would say that to me just to cause anxiety makes me sick. I went on to try and enjoy my outing with Kate, which unfortunately didn't offer much solace. While stopped at a red light, Kate and I sat quietly as a group of pedestrians crossed the street. Kate made a comment on how beautiful one particular girl in the crowd happened to be. I agreed that she was a very pretty woman, only for Kate to suddenly spout out, "I'm not attracted to men." She had said this as if the words had been dying to leave her lips for years. I was pretty dumbfounded and caught off guard by the sudden confession, as I had never entertained the idea of Kate being a lesbian. She had mentioned once a short fling she shared with a girl in middle school, but claimed it to have been nothing more than a cry for attention. We joked about this here and there, but I never thought she could have been lying. I didn't answer due to lacking a decent response, so she followed up by blatantly telling me that she is a lesbian and that she doesn't love John. I asked Kate why on earth she would marry him, and then she only said, "Because I think it's what I should do." I tried to talk to her more about this, but then she told me she would prefer the subject be dropped. At this point, I was counting down the hours to my flight home the next morning after hearing John would be joining us for dinner. I was even more eager to get away. After meeting up with him, and the three of us began walking into the restaurant only for me to catch John's hands veering dangerously close to my butt. I shifted away and he moved very quickly in an attempt to grab it. Luckily, I managed to jump to the side, leaving him with only his fingertips brushing my skirt. I told him to watch his fucking hands, and he just laughed again and made some kind of comment on my appearance and the fact that he couldn't help it. Dinner couldn't have gone by slower. I sat there hardly saying a word and wondering if I should just try and get a hotel for the evening. However, my stupid self decided that I could make it one more night and save the cash. I told Kate that I was very tired the moment we got back to her place, but she insisted that I watch our favorite movie together before I go home. Unable to say no, the two of us head to her bedroom. Her roommate's bedroom is on the bottom floor next to the family room, so the television would have woken them up. About an hour into the movie, John comes in and asks to watch with us. Kate tells him, of course, and hardly 10 minutes passes before he's attempting to convince Kate and I to kiss. I say no repeatedly and just keep looking at the screen. Kate isn't saying a darn word about it, and John actually starts pleading with us to just kiss really quick, so I tell him to shut up and that he's ruining the movie. A couple more minutes of silence pass by until John outright asked if I'd like to sleep with him. The way that he went about asking was as if he had deluded himself into thinking he was fucking irresistible to me. I told him no and pointed out the fact that Kate was sitting right next to me. I looked at her, expecting some kind of response, but it was obvious she totally spaced out at this point. John informed me that Kate was fine with sharing him. He continued to badger me and insisted I show him some appreciation for allowing me to stay in his home. I looked at Kate and asked her, "How the fuck are you okay with this?" She looked as if she was unable to hear me, staring straight ahead with dull eyes. I got up to leave, only for John to attempt to block the door. Mind you, I'm 5 foot tall and 100 pounds, being physically blocked by a very large man. I tell John firmly to move, only for him to once again say that I owe him. I took the chance and shouldered my way past him. Luckily, he didn't do much but attempt to grab me as I exited the room. I gathered my things quickly and got a hotel room. Kate never acknowledged what happened. I think she might be suffering from either John's abuse or some kind of mental disorder, which makes me feel bad for being angry with her. But I'm very angry that she sat by and did nothing while her fiance was so aggressive with me. Kate is aware that I was sexually assaulted in the recent past and therefore am sensitive to such pushy advances. I talked to Kate sparsely and she doesn't seem to understand why. By coincidence, I happen to have accepted the role in an internship program close to the city she lives in. Within a month, I will be living in very close proximity to both her and John, and I need to figure out what to do. I want to help my friend. I'm afraid that she is experiencing abuse, living a lie by pretending to be heterosexual, and may possibly be suffering some kind of mental illness. I have never been in a situation like this, and I'm at a complete loss. I don't want to see Kate after I move because that in turn means I'll see John. Any advice as to how I can help her or try to diffuse the situation would be massively helpful.
Holy fuck. Yo, this is like the freaking Twilight Zone. Advice. Okay. How to help Kate. Does she have parents? Can we call her parents? Does she have family, siblings, or parents? Can we call any kind of family? That's all I got.
Yeah. That's a good start. It's tough. You don't want to overstep, but you also know she is in a weird place.
Even if she didn't shut out, "I'm lesbian," her fiance doing all of that shit.
Exactly.
That's fucked. And her doing nothing. That's really bad.
I think she should try to have a conversation with Kate and
honestly, see if she can have a real conversation. Yeah. Actually get her talking about it.
Yeah. Okay. There's an edit. Whoa, my gosh. I just woke up and had no expectation of this post blowing up so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the advice and support. Seriously, you guys have no idea how much it means to me. I've decided to talk to Kate. I'm nervous as hell because I have no clue how she'll react, but I need to reach out to her. She has been there for me during trying times in my life. I want to be there for her. I know for a fact that John works tonight and Kate will accompany him sometimes and just sort of sit there and be idle all evening. I should have recognized this as weird earlier, but I don't know if she's going tonight. I asked her if she would like to Skype this evening and she responded with, "Why do you want to talk to me all of a sudden?" I told her I'd just like to catch up and apologize for being so busy as of late. Haven't received an answer just yet, but I'll try my best to update tonight if we get the chance to talk. Once again, thank you everyone. I'll try to respond to as many comments as possible. I'm not receiving any good advice from those close to me, so this is insanely beneficial. Then there's an edit 2. Skyping with Kate tonight. She agreed a lot more excitedly than I had anticipated, judging by her preceding texts. We chatted for a little bit afterward, and oddly, she brought up the fact that she had recently watched Rush and commented on how hot Chris Hemsworth is. I was a bit thrown off for obvious reasons, given that she had not only confessed to being a lesbian, but verbatim told me that she's not attracted to men. Maybe I'm reading too far into this, so I just agreed that yes, Chris Hemsworth is indeed gifted and told her I couldn't wait to talk tonight. I'm still very nervous.
I mean, he is like a freaking goddess. I'm I'm not gay, but fuck me, Chris Hemsworth. Hells yeah.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Ryan Reynolds, sexy men.
They're okay. That's not my type. I feel like men.
Paul Walker.
No, I feel like men really think that those guys are like women swoon over them. Ryan Gosling, like it's not my cup of tea.
All right.
Update 8 months later.
8 months later.
8 months later.
Oh my.
So I know my original post is super old, but I received an invitation to Kate and John's wedding today.
Oh fuck.
It reminded me of this whole thing, and more importantly, the fact that I never really thanked everyone for all your supportive comments and advice. Thank you very, very much. Plenty of people had been asking for an update, but honestly, I became so busy with prepping to move that Reddit was not on my list of priorities. So, on to the update. I went through with the Skype chat as planned. Luckily, I had successfully caught Kate alone. We small talked for hardly a minute because my nerves were buzzing, and I wanted to get this over with. I jumped right into it and explained to her why I'd been distancing myself, that John's behavior was seriously concerning. I listed to her the exact events that made me feel uncomfortable, both for her safety and mine. She listened in dead silence, as I'm certain this had not been her expectation of our chat. After I'd finished, I asked why she would want to spend her life with this man, especially since she'd confided in me about her sexual orientation. Kate broke down pretty quickly, and to sum it up, she's been in love with me since high school. I can't put into proper words how I feel about this part. Yes, as some of you suggested, Kate and John had been trying to set up a threesome the entire weekend I was there. I asked her whose idea it had been, and she said it was hers, but that John was incredibly excited at the suggestion. She admitted to having planned the entire thing out with John before even inviting me to visit. She said they planned to see if the intimacy would come naturally and then try and initiate it if that were not the case. I asked her why she was okay with John acting so coercive, and she said he'd promised to make it happen no matter what. After I hadn't caught the hint the past 2 nights, she said she felt desperate to be with me intimately and would do anything for that to happen. I asked her even if it meant having to force me, and she said maybe so, but I would just enjoy it eventually. That I would probably just have given in and she could join if John had followed through.
What the fuck?
Not gonna lie, this made me fucking sick. But I set those feelings aside and told her very gently that I don't reciprocate her romantic feelings, but I still care for her as a friend. I told her that I feared for her safety and happiness and only wanted to help. Well, that completely flipped a switch. Honestly, I've never seen Kate angry. She's a passive person to a fault, but holy shit does she lose it on me. Kate made a total 180 and began making accusations that didn't make sense. That I was trying to steal John away from her, and that I can't have him. That his sexual aggression towards me, as well as my past sexual assault, was directly my fault due to how I dress and present myself. That all her insecurities are my fault, because she has to put up with John talking about how I look and asking why she can't act more like me. I enjoy doing my makeup and hair, wearing dresses and heels when I go out, while Kate only wears baggy clothing and does nothing to her hair or face. It's always been this way. We just have different styles. Anyhow, she ended her tirade telling me to kill myself, so honestly, I hung up after that. I feel as though Kate is dealing with issues that are far out of my league to assist with, and I couldn't continue speaking with her. My internship is over now, so I am home and away from both of them. During my internship, they both attempted to contact me multiple times, but I always deleted the messages. Kate simply ignored what had transpired between us and asked why I wouldn't speak to her. Then John made a few jokes about kidnapping me.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I only saw the both of them once during my entire internship. I had the chance to attend a large pop culture convention, and I was seriously so stoked about it, despite having no friends to go with. Luckily, I found a couple of girls on Facebook through my internship group page who were also looking for people to go with. I knew for a fact Kate and John would be going, as they attend every year. Plus, the costume I chose to wear was near unmissable, so I was certain they would notice me. But honestly, I was not about to let them spoil the event for me and went anyhow. I gave the girls a rundown of the situation, and they all assured me they had my backs. Lo and behold, as I'm standing in an autograph line with my friends, who hugs me from behind but John? I basically went into spaz mode and flailed until he let go. Dick Weed acted confused. Kate was right beside him being quiet. I'd like to say that I told him off like a champ, but I didn't. I was scared, honestly, so I just ran. I was wearing massive heels, so I had to do that weird crouch move where you're not really running, but more so fast walking like a werewolf. A couple of the girls followed me to make sure I was good. Never saw them again. I know the general consensus was to not cut Kate out of my life, but I honestly do not believe either of them are safe to be around. I feel that Kate is dealing with something beyond what I can assist with, and my personal safety needs to come first. Obviously, I'm not going to the wedding. Thank you all for the helpful advice and support I received on my previous post.
Fuck all of that shit. You're on the FaceTime call, and she's thinking that she wanted John to force you, and that maybe you'll enjoy it eventually, that I would have just given in if John had fall through. Like, oh my, I'm terrified. That sounds terrifying as fuck. No.
That didn't go to plan at all.
Oh my God.
That is so insane and scary. So terrifying. A flip of the switch, like you've known this girl since high school.
Yeah, that's
she's
fucked.
Dating this, or she's married to now this creep of a guy. They both sound fucked, honestly. It sounds like it was her idea.
You literally never fucking know anyone. Apparently there's a statistical fact out there that if you were to be murdered, it's going to be by somebody you know, more likely than not.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
This chick gonna murder her.
What?
This Kate's gonna freaking murder her. This is messed up.
Really, really insane. I'm just glad that she got out of there without any harm.
Holy fuck. One of the top comments, Kate is the sort of woman who ends up being the wife of a rapist or serial killer who knowingly lures in the victims. And that reminds me of like the Scarborough killer or whatever. Remember about that one? There's like, they're based in like Scarborough, which is like, if you're not in Canada, that's like just like it's part of Toronto. It's like a
suburb
of Toronto. And he was like a serial killer or whatever. And then eventually she lured in her own sister for him.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It's a big thing. I think they made a Netflix series or something after them and stuff. It's like, I'm pretty sure you type in Scarborough serial killer comes up.
Like they did it together?
Serial killer couple. Yeah.
Oh,
Paul Bernardo.
Oh, that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
Ken and Barbie Killers, the Lost Murder Tapes.
Oh, I think I do remember. Yeah, they used to film them.
Yeah.
I think I watched this, actually. This on Netflix.
Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, this is the vibes that it was giving.
That's the vibes. That's the vibes I got. Goddamn.
Yeah, no. And I know, like, yeah, she probably has a mental health issue, or she's being abused, or all of the above. But like, honestly, OP has to put herself first because, like she said,
personal
like,
safety.
She is
you don't know
danger.
Yeah, you don't know anybody anything. Anybody has their own problems with their life. You owe them nothing. Just because you're your friend, the only person you owe anything to is yourself first.
You have
if
to put
you are
yourself
fearing
first.
for yourself first, you owe nobody else anything.
Yeah.
The comment that replies to that says, Kate promised her fiance her friend as if she was a token to be spent and not a human being. She set OP up to be raped and then blamed all of her problems on OP for not letting herself be raped. And now they are getting married. I fear for every woman around them. Me too.
It's really weird that there was no trigger warnings for talks of sexual assault on this one.
How?
Right?
There's definitely talks. They talked about her past on it. That was weird.
This one was crazy. But I'm tired of reading now. You can go.
All right, fine. Oh, back to me.
Can we get a lighter one? Do you have any light ones?
Bro, nothing goes to plan? How's that anything good?
We don't have something that plans or that wasn't planned in a good way. Happy ending.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I got one.
Good. Guys, side note, Denver has been putting fruit in his water, like frozen fruit, and it's genius.
You know, I could have
It's so good.
the last time I did it, like months ago when I was doing it, you're like, ew, why would you do that? I remember
Maybe
that.
I did.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
Oh no, I'm getting stuck on a blueberry.
Yeah, that happens. You gotta suck it through. All right, this one's coming from Today I Fucked Up. Today I fucked up by visiting a Japanese bathhouse. Okay, so this happened a fair few years ago, but it still haunts me. Back in 2017, I was in my final year of university and got the opportunity to spend 5 weeks in Tokyo for an exchange. One of the items on my bucket list was to visit a sento, which is a traditional indoor Japanese bathhouse. I wanted to go somewhere a bit less touristy, and luckily there was a place only a few blocks from where I was staying, like 45 minutes out of the central city. Not wanting to make an idiot of myself, I did some research beforehand regarding what to expect and how to act. One thing mentioned was that you have to wash yourself before you hop in the pool. I didn't have a travel bottle of soap / body wash, but I read that you can buy it at most places, and if not, then it will often be supplied. When I got there, I quickly realized no one spoke English. And although I managed to pay for my entry, I couldn't communicate regarding soap, nor could I see any for purchase behind the counter. I assumed there would be some in the actual bathing area, so I stripped down naked in the changing room, put my clothes in a locker, and proceeded into the actual bathing room. On the left-hand side of the room, there were like 15 or so washing stations. To the right was the big pool. There were a few old men sitting, well, more like squatting, on a tiny footstool thing washing themselves. I was the only non-Japanese person there, and alas, there was no soap in sight. Then I spied, just to the left of the entrance, on a table, a small woven basket with like 7 bars of soap in it. This is where I made my big fuck up. I assumed that this was the communal soap basket. I grabbed a bar of soap and walked over to one of the washing stations to get to business. One of the old Japanese guys saw me doing this and started glaring at me and muttering something under his breath. This would have been the time to return the soap to the basket and call it a day, but I'm a fucking idiot, so that didn't happen. Shortly after, another old Japanese gets out of the bath, walks over the table, picks up the basket of soap, exchanges words with the guy who glared at me, and proceeds to also start glaring at me and saying something in what seemed to be a pretty angry tone. This is when I realized with horror that the basket was in fact his, and I had just stolen one of his bars of soap. By this point, I had already lathered myself up, however, so handing the soap back to him clearly wasn't an option. I awkwardly tried to apologize, but could see it was not well received. I didn't see any other option except to finish washing myself. But the next issue was that I had nowhere to put the soap. I didn't have a toiletry bag with me, and there were no rubbish bins anywhere. So I sat there, red-faced, completely naked, dying a million deaths inside, continuously rubbing soap on myself and breaking it up / disintegrating it into small enough chunks that it would go down the drain. I'm sure the Japanese men continued glaring and cursing at me, but I didn't make any further eye contact with them, so I can't be completely sure. After this ordeal was over, I rinsed myself off, got up and entered the bath. The water was incredibly hot, however, and this, alongside the shame and embarrassment washing over me, made for a thoroughly unenjoyable experience. I only stayed in there for like 5 minutes before silking out back to the safety of my touristy accommodations.
Oh my god, that is the only correct response. Is where do I put the soap? Let me use it.
Keep scrubbing. Just keep washing.
Until it disintegrates in my hand.
Dude's like, that was a brand new bar of soap.
Oh my god. Poor guy.
The top comment. The funniest bit is that you stayed in the shower desperately trying to use up the entire bar of soap. Like, not only did you steal this guy's soap bar, you literally vaporized it while showering.
Oh my god. I feel like that's something I would do.
Second comment. Imagine if some dude came into the gym locker room and stole your soap, and while you're passively aggressively waiting for him to finish, he just keeps fucking using it until it's all gone, and then just leaves without saying shit.
Oh my god. No, but actually though, it probably pissed him off 10 times more. Like, okay, are you almost done with it at least?
Right?
No,
He's like waiting to get it back. They're leftover.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That was so good. That was a good palate cleanser that we needed.
Yeah, that we needed that.
All right, back to me.
Yeah, back to you.
This one comes from, am I overreacting? Should I be as upset as I am that my husband didn't let me know there was an extra ticket to an NFL game and took my sister-in-law? My husband of 39 years got 3 tickets from someone he works with to go to the Lions game. He told me about them and I said how fun that would be. The team is awesome, the crowd is crazy, and he said, well, I would like to invite your nephews. My brother passed away about 5 years ago, and my husband told my brother he would be there for sports with them. One nephew lives in Chicago, so I didn't think he would make it back, and he couldn't. Fast forward to this past week. I was trying to figure out buying meals for the weekends, and he told me, oh, I won't be here on Sunday. And I asked why. He said he was going to the Lions game, which I kind of forgot about and didn't know the date. He hadn't mentioned it again after the first conversation. I asked if the boys were going, and he just said one could make it, and that their mom was going with him. I said, what the fuck? What about me? If one of the boys couldn't go, don't you think you should have asked me after I expressed interest in going? He said there was a group text I wasn't on, and she said she would like to go. I said at that point, you should have said, let me check with my wife first. Nope, I only found out when I asked. We have had many conversations. We talk a lot. I have told him how I feel using I statements, no you statements. My nephews are in their late 20s. They are doing fine with their dad's death 6 years ago. I am sure they have moments, as we all do, but they are fine. I have not been this hurt in a long time and can't stop crying, and he really doesn't get it. He says he is trying to understand, but really can't understand why I am so upset. I should be his number one. Am I overreacting?
Yes and no. Like, yes and no. I feel like if this was truly just a one-time thing, you would have more understanding. I feel like you are more hurt because this is like the straw that broke the camel's back or something.
Okay, do you think it's a little bit weird that he's taking his sister-in-law? Like, this is not his sister. This is not his nephews. This is not his sister.
Her brother passed away.
Yes.
Oh, that's more weird. I was thinking it was his brother. It was her brother that passed away. Yeah. Yeah, that's more
This
weird.
would be like you taking Elio, but if she was a girl.
Yes.
What if he was a girl, sorry.
Yes.
Instead of me.
Yeah.
After expressing interest. Like, she did. She said, I would have loved to go. I would be upset by this.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
No, I can see that totally too. Yeah.
I would be upset. I think if it was your sister instead, I would understand more.
Yeah, or even his brother's wife.
Or that. Because it's like his nephews, like his
With
side
their
of the
mom.
family with their mom. But it's her side of, like...
But it's still their mom. So I don't know. That's where I'm like, I'm a little less thinking it's weird because are they just there because their son went and like her other son didn't go, so she's like, oh, I'll go.
Top comment. I find it odd that he included the mom of the boys in the group chat to begin with. The boys are in their 20s, so no need to include mom when making plans. I wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah.
Why isn't she in that?
No, I can understand
It's
both
her
sides.
side of the family. I would be really upset about this, honestly.
I could see that. I could see that, but I would also think that you wouldn't be that upset if this was the first time it's ever happened. I feel like you'd be more understanding
there's like
if this wasn't a habit.
Pent up resentment here.
Yeah, I feel like
maybe some issues in the past.
I feel like maybe he's had a habit of not including her in things. Because I feel like you wouldn't be this upset if this was the first time.
I think even if it was the first time, it is still understandable to be upset about this.
It's understandable to be upset about this.
Because he didn't even tell her. He didn't communicate
right,
with
he didn't
her.
even tell her that. Right? She okay. This is what I'm saying where I'm like, I don't think this is the first time. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And you know what? She didn't know that the football game was this weekend. She didn't know who the other tickets ended up going with. She didn't know if it was both necessary or not. All of this screams that they don't have a very good communication.
Yeah.
So she's overreacting because this is one of many, not the first.
I don't think she's overreacting.
Sorry, not overreacting. She is...
reacting.
Yes, she is hurt because this is one of many, not the first.
She's reacting a reasonable amount.
But I don't know if it's that weird that it's her sister-in-law. Like, I don't know if that's a weird dynamic because the way that I see it, not his brother is her brother, but I also see it as like it's the kid's mom. So I don't know.
Yes, maybe, but also the comment said the group chat is weird without OP.
And do you agree with that?
Like, why?
Why are you trying to hide? It's weird. Yeah, it's weird.
It's really weird. No me piace.
No piace.
Okay, next.
Go again.
Me again? Why? I went through a lot of my stories. You have so many still.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for wanting to give up my son after discovering he isn't mine? The situation is nothing short of a clusterfuck. I'm angry, depressed, and sad, and I don't know what to do. I, 32 male, am shattered, and I don't know where to go from here. My wife passed away last month, only 7 months after giving birth to our son. She developed peripartum cardiomyopathy, a rare and severe form of heart failure that can occur in the months following childbirth. Despite the doctor's best efforts, she didn't survive. Losing her so suddenly has left me heartbroken and in a state of constant grief. 3 weeks ago, my wife's best friend came over to visit. She was visibly nervous and eventually told me she had something sensitive to share. After some hesitation, she revealed that my wife had confided in her that she'd been unfaithful around the time our son was conceived, and there was a chance that he might not be mine. I was stunned and angry. My wife's best friend was telling me this only weeks after my wife's death, and it felt like an attempt to tarnish her memory. I couldn't believe it. I told her to leave and not to come back, convinced she was lying or trying to shift blame onto me somehow. The whole thing felt like a betrayal, and I tried to push the thought from my mind. But once the idea was planted, it wouldn't go away. I kept wondering, what if she was telling the truth? After days of tormenting myself with the possibility, I decided to get a DNA test. It wasn't an easy decision. I felt guilty for even considering it, but I needed closure. Yesterday, the results came back in, and my worst fears were confirmed. My son isn't biologically mine. Now I'm in turmoil. I loved my wife, and I wanted to believe our son was a piece of her and me together. But knowing he's not biologically mine has left me feeling lost and betrayed. I keep looking at him, trying to feel the same bond, but the pain of my wife's infidelity is so fresh, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to move past it. I feel awful even considering it, but I don't know if I can raise him on my own. The betrayal I feel is overwhelming, and I don't know if I'm capable of giving him the love and care he deserves. It is breaking my heart, and I feel like a failure, but I also feel like I'm not equipped to give him the life that he deserves. Am I the asshole?
Yeah.
You think so? Oh, I am surprised.
I think so a little bit. I don't know.
I am surprised.
I think we had another story like this where I had an opposite.
Right? I feel like I thought your opinion was, if you want out, you want out.
I think the other story was like, the wife was alive and he found out that the kid wasn't his, but he wanted nothing to do with the kid. And I said, like, it would be hard for him to Oh, I think, yeah, it was also, yeah, it was
I think
cheating,
that was the one where
obviously.
she was a teenager, no?
I don't remember. I don't know, but I feel like
He should
it's
raise the
even
baby?
tougher because she's dead.
And he should raise the baby? That's not his?
Is it a baby?
7 months old.
Oh, I don't know what I was thinking.
It's the size of Andrew right now. Helpless little thing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. I thought he was a child.
How old?
Like a kid.
That. Yeah, okay.
I thought he was like 7 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would change things for me, in my opinion.
In favor of keeping it?
Yeah, like 7 years, and now you say you don't want the kid anymore. Like, you've already raised the kid.
Yeah.
The kid's 7 months. He doesn't really know who you are yet.
Yeah.
There's still time to get out.
Oh my God. But it's also just a baby. What are you going to do? Put him up for adoption? Oh my God. I don't know. Honestly, don't know about this one. I feel like people are going to say I'm flip-floppy because of my different opinion.
You don't seem flip-floppy at all. You seem rock solid over there.
Guys, it depends on my mood, okay?
Strong as can be.
It depends on my mood. I don't know what you want from me.
So top comment. Have you thought to call her friend and ask who the father is? That took a lot for her to tell you. She could have never told you. The right thing to do first is attempt to find this guy and inform him. And OP responds, haven't contacted her since that day. However, your suggestion is sound, and I definitely contact her for the details, if she has any.
That's a great start.
So as an edit, I haven't thought of contacting the friend, but I will now. The replies have really solidified what I have been feeling. The child is innocent, but I don't think I'd be able to love or care for him as well as I should. Informing the family will be my first step, then contacting the affair partner, if possible. Adoption is going to be my last resort. Many of you may believe I'm a monster, but put yourself in my situation. I hope you all understand. Second edit. So I called her friend, apologized for my behavior, but also asked why she did not inform me as soon as she knew. She said her loyalties laid with her friend more than me. Okay, fine. I asked her about the affair partner. She said she doesn't know as it was a one-time thing. Apparently it happened during her work time, whatever that meant, and during daytime as she'd been told. I mean, I'm not fully understanding, but it seems like she fucked a guy when she was supposed to be working.
Jesus.
Many of you are suggesting I go through her phone or other social contacts, but I don't know any passwords. I never doubted her. We weren't controlling of each other, and had and gave plenty of privacy. The next step is informing the family, both mine and hers. I'm adding another thing. I don't hate the baby, and I'm not so deranged I would throw him out of the house. Whatever happens, happens according to procedure. I'm not going to instantly abandon a kid just because he isn't mine.
Okay, well, that's good at least.
I think he's just saying for like the long term.
Yeah.
This kid deserves a loving family. And this dude is so hurt and broken with the loss of his wife and then finding out that the kid isn't actually his.
Yeah.
That he doesn't see himself capable of being able to provide
a good life for the baby.
Exactly.
No, and that's fair, and honestly probably best for the baby. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in this position, so I can't really sit here and judge either way. Like, whatever he decides, I can't judge it.
There's an update.
Oh.
Thanks to everyone who reached out with advice and support. I didn't get to respond to every message, but I really appreciate it. After finding out my son isn't biologically mine, I decided to tell both my family and my in-laws. My family was shocked and angry about everything, but they stood by me. My in-laws were also shocked, but didn't believe it at first. They asked to see the DNA test results, and after seeing them, they suggested we do a second test with both families being present, just to be sure. They said that if it confirmed he isn't mine, my late wife's sister, who has a 4-year-old daughter, would adopt him, and I could take my name off the birth certificate if I wanted. I agreed, and we did the test yesterday. Results should come in about a week. Honestly, I'm relieved with how things are playing out. There hasn't been any drama, and everyone's been understanding. I've also talked to a lawyer who said getting my name author certificate should be straightforward with the test results. Thank you all again for the support and for those who offered to adopt him. I'm sorry, but your kindness means a lot. I'll update when the final results are in. Also, English isn't my first language. I had to use GPT to help with formatting and phrasing.
Well, that's a good outcome.
Yeah, then there's an edit, and it says, edit, for all those accusing me of karma farming, I'm going to delete this account after all this is over.
What does that mean? Karma farming.
I have no idea, because as much as we use Reddit, I don't understand what Reddit's karma system is, because I barely comment. And yeah, his account, he deleted it.
Karma farming is a practice of making posts and comments to increase one's karma score as quickly as possible.
What's karma do?
I think you can get paid on Reddit.
We can make money from the Reddit platform? All we do is read stories from it. We can get paid?
We do get paid.
But not from Reddit.
So we don't have the update?
No update. And he's
what the heck?
deleted his account to
That's
prove
bullshit.
something. How much karma do we have?
I don't know. Also,
We have 1,300 karma.
that's low.
No, that's post karma. I don't know.
Also, like, as the wife was dying, because it wasn't like all of a sudden, she was dying for a few months, right? They said that she had.
No, I'm just wondering where you're going with this.
She should have told him.
Oh, yeah, that's what I
She could have
thought.
claimed clean.
On her deathbed, I just need you to know, the baby that I'm leaving with you to raise after I'm gone might not be yours.
Actually, I'm not joking. She should have. That would have been one redeeming thing for her. To tell the truth, set her free.
Sure.
Instead, she's rotting in hell.
You're sick.
Wow.
Okay. I just see like we have post karma and common karma, but what does that
Who
even
cares
mean?
about the karma?
What does that mean? I don't know. Okay. Back to you.
Okay. Pick which one I should choose for my last one.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for telling my husband that I would have never agreed to have his child if I knew he would go back on our agreement?
Babe, we've done that one. And just in case you're wondering, it's on Patreon, episode 20. So if anybody else actually wants to hear that one, Patreon episode 20, guys.
That's awkward. I don't remember that at all.
I love how it's on your
Can we
calendar.
delete that?
I love how it's on
Wait, did I read it or you?
yours.
I read it?
No, actually, I don't know. Maybe
Oh.
maybe I read it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
But he turned out to be a shit stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
And he asked her to give up her medical practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they worked out fine.
I think it was in my category before it was in yours. You stole it.
Totally.
You stole it
Yeah,
from me.
that's what happened.
Okay. Well, that one's out of the question. Okay. Should I then do my girlfriend rejected my marriage proposal? Or...
I think we've done that one too.
No, this one's new. This was only posted 7 days ago.
Oh. Okay.
You're freaking... Or... would I be the asshole if I returned a birthday gift from my partner for the second year in a row?
Fuck yeah, give me the drama on
That
that
one?
Give me that one.
Oh, I kind of want to do the other one.
We'll leave the other one for Patreon. Episode 33 on Patreon. In case you guys don't know, join us over on Patreon for bonus episodes every Friday for the real good stories. We were listening, the last episode we did the best of 2024.
Yep.
And a bunch of the ones that were actually the top of those categories for the year-end ranking, we had read them when they first went live on our Patreon's episode. So if you guys think that all the best ones are on the Tuesday episodes, don't be so confident in that. There's some real juicy ones that come over onto Patreon.
Way to get them.
Trying to upsell that Patreon, please.
Use those sales skills.
If you guys do come over, we appreciate your support. And Friday episodes are quite a hoot. You get a little bit more. You get a little bit more in depth, Denver and Teresa. A little more loose lips. A little bit more, free nilly willy, whatever, something. We just hang it loose. We're loose on Fridays. We're just careless and carefree and reckless.
I feel like you might be doing the opposite of what you think you're doing.
Darn it.
You might be deterring them.
It's a good time. Just come on over.
All right. This one comes from Am I the Asshole? Would I be the asshole if I returned a birthday gift from my partner for the second year in a row? My birthday is around the corner, and my partner surprised me with an outing with some close family members at a nice restaurant, and then we went back to our house to cap off the evening with drinks, cake, and some gifts. As I opened gifts, I had a smorgasbord of things that would be enjoyed, mostly small snacks, candies, and jerky, as well as small gift cards for local food places I can run to on the way home on longer work days instead of worrying about what I'd have to cook when getting home. All in all, they know me pretty well. The problem arises with my partner and his gift giving. He is very materialistic and thinks if the gift is not a big or well-known brand, then it is not worth having or giving. A few examples over the years. One year, he got me a coat with a fur-lined hood that while it was a nice coat, it was 100% not something I'd ever worn or shown interest in wearing. I'm basically like King Midas's pigpen cousin. Everything I touch gets dirty immediately. Hence, I tend to buy cheaper things that I do not mind getting worn and torn. Another year, he got me a Puma outfit, which consisted of mostly white, with some black trim shoes that were a bit too tight and a hoodie that was at least one size too small. Had to return and get a bigger size shoe, but they did not have the next size up hoodie for that style, which is likely why he got me a smaller size at the time. Last year, he got me a Keurig coffee maker, which I had heard good things about, but came to realize it was not ideal for me for two reasons. One, it was much larger than my current coffee maker and would not easily fit on the counter under the shelves. And two, I would either make a single serving cup via a pod or an entire pot, which felt like a waste when I would basically just have 2 cups in the morning. For the Keurig, I ended up telling him to return it, but it was already outside of the return window because he had bought it way too early and just had it waiting to give, so I ended up giving it to his mother instead, who had a small coffee business at the time. Thought that was the end of it. Until today. He got me some nice cologne and a nice hoodie, though too small again. However, the main gift he got me was another coffee maker. This time a Ninja brand, but almost the exact same footprint as the Keurig, which will not easily fit under the shelf, and I'd have to turn it sideways where it will be teetering on the sink lip for the plug to reach it. Why are you dying of laughter?
I'm all in on this.
He's already made the comment about how it was expensive, and I better not want to return it like the last one. I feigned excitement since we had other family members over, but after seeing how big it is, and it is likely going to be the same issue as a Keurig, I have no intention of using it. I'm 100% fine with my $30 Mr. Coffee and do not need one with all the different brewing modes and other bells and whistles. So, would I be the asshole if I told him I want to return it while it's still in the return period?
No. Your partner giving you shitty fucking gifts year after year does not make you an asshole when you need to point it out.
Yes. He needs to be taught a lesson.
I appreciate the effort that you went through to get me the gift, and I do. But that is only going to survive so long before you were just a fucking shitty partner for not understanding the gifts that you are giving someone, because you are not actually thinking about your partner. The more this goes on and the more that you are off with your gifts, the more that your partner is going to realize that you are not actually thinking about them. Years in a row, he doesn't, like 4 years now or something that he came up with the example is that like this OP is slowly starting to feel like his partner does not care enough about him to take the time to learn about what would make him happy as a gift. And the fact that you got me a coffee maker last year and you doubled down with it this year, I can understand if you got a coffee maker again, but it worked. It was smaller, fit in the countertop. You made sure it was going to fit in the space. You made sure it worked. Be like, oh, that's actually a good job. But you just doubled down on the same stupidity. So me, it'd be like if you kept giving me a gift every year that I could do nothing with, it would get infuriating. Like that gets to the point where it's like I can never use your gifts. It's like you're not actually thinking about me with your gifts. You're thinking about yourself.
It seems like he's just throwing money at things.
Exactly.
Like he's not really caring about what he wants. He's just like, oh, if it's expensive, it's a good gift.
Yeah.
He's just like, here's the cash.
It'd be like me buying you really expensive earrings that are not gold.
Huh?
It'd be like me buying you really expensive silver earrings.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Because
you know that I don't like silver.
Your ears have problems with gold. No, you don't like silver. Your ears.
I don't love. I'm a gold person now.
Well, just okay, sure, but like it's mainly because of the reaction the silver gives your ears when you leave earrings in all the time.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like all of this could be solved with just a little listening on the gift giver's part.
100%. Yeah.
What's the worst gift I've ever given you? Come on. Throw me under the bus on the podcast.
I feel like a few years ago, you just bought me a bunch of pink stuff and I didn't want it. I didn't like pink at the time.
Yeah, that's fair. I did.
You just like
I bought you a lot
did it
of
for
pink
yourself.
Stuff. I did do that for myself. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
I did do that. I had to start using. I have eased up on all the pink stuff. Although now you actually like the pink stuff. I do like pink. Yeah. Now when you go to get something, you're like, give me the pink one.
Yeah.
Give me the pink headphones. Give me the pink laptop. Give me the pink microphone. Give me the pink jacket.
Pink water bottle.
Give me the pink water bottle.
Yep. Okay. Top comment.
You don't want to hear mine? Oh. Jeez. I thought we had a good relationship where like we balanced, I ask you something and you ask me something.
Okay. What's the worst gift I've ever given you?
Everybody feels included.
Okay. You obviously have something pressing in your mind.
That one year, you only gave me snowboard bindings.
That's not true.
I didn't know that.
We literally told the story last
for 12 hours.
Last episode or 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So that's not a shitty gift. I gave you the entire package.
I never said it was a shitty. You asked what was the shittiest gift you've ever given me. At the time, that was the worst one. It became really good. It was a great gift. But, if you had to rank them, something's got to be at the bottom.
You don't make sense. Moving on.
All right.
Top comment. Info. Does your partner know you? Like, at all? Does he listen to you? OP replies, I like to think he does, but I also feel like he is trying too hard for his budget.
No. You like to think he does. No, you don't. You're fooling yourself.
He makes much less money at his new job than his previous job, and most of his recent gifts have been from places that he has a credit card through that he can finance or pay off over time. More recently, the big gifts seemed like they're from Best Buy. Told him I do not want him going into debt for me for either my birthday or Christmas after learning the thing he got me last Christmas took him until June to pay off the card for.
Okay, this sounds so unstable. I do not want a partner that is A, spending money they don't have on me, is B, buying things and spending money they don't have on me that things they don't want, C, not listening to me, and you say I like to think he does. I feel like you like to think you're fooling yourself.
Yeah. So the guy that wrote the top comment replied to his reply. Quote, I like to think he does isn't really an answer. The people who built the Titanic like to think it was unsinkable.
Oh, fuck. Burn.
Damn.
Shit.
He cut deep.
Right? Like, find out what's important to you.
Yeah.
I could buy Teresa a $3,000 Louis Vuitton couch blanket that would be nice and warm and fuzzy for her. Or I could buy a $30 one that has Taylor Swift on it. And guess which one she's going to like more. Like, figure out what your partner wants and enjoys.
Yes, 100%.
You could buy me a really expensive stuff, or you just buy me some Fox t-shirts and I'm a happy camper.
Yep.
I'm easy.
You're easy to please.
Fox Racing Dossier. It's easy peasy. That's all you need to know. Anybody ever wants to buy me a gift? Anything from Fox Racing is greatly appreciated.
Who are you trying to convince here?
What's our P.O. box? I'm just curious all of a sudden.
We don't have one.
Okay, that's it. We're done.
That's all for today, folks.
Bonne nuit.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I had a fun time.
Do you know what time it is? Now what part of the segment do we get to do, Teresa?
Q&A.
That's right, the new The new Q&A segment. What episode is this?
59.
59? We have 2 questions. You know what's funny? We're on 59, but like where we are in real life, tomorrow is launching 56, is when we actually ask for the Q&A questions.
Yeah.
So these Q&A questions are coming from our Patreon members.
From our early access members.
Early access. So not only do you get bonus episodes on Patreon, you get early access to the regular scheduled content. Question number 1 for Teresa. I would love to know what other podcasts you guys listen to.
Oh.
Always looking for more suggestions, and yours is my number 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
what podcast do you listen to?
Well, the one that inspired this is Two Hot Takes.
Two Hot Takes. Teresa and I used to listen to Two Hot Takes.
I will say we don't really listen to them anymore because now I feel like it's a conflict of interest.
I do feel like it's conflict of interest.
I feel like we may read the same stories, and I don't want to know the stories.
Yeah, I don't want to read a story that I heard on their podcast, and I don't want to lose reading a story on my podcast because I heard it on her podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So I no longer listen to Two Hot Takes.
But I would recommend them. They're great.
Love Morgan. She was great.
Yes. One podcast that I really love, and they were the very first podcast that I've ever listened to. They are the ones that got me into podcasts. I still listen to them. What We Said podcast. JC and Chelsea, I love them so much. They're so funny. It's a really like girly podcast. So if you are a girl and you love being a girl, even if you're a guy and you love being, and if you love girls, it's just like a really fun girly pop podcast. And then I listen to Parked Car Convos, which is, Maddie Mitchell's, she's hilarious. Like, she is so witty and just so fun with her words. Like, I found her on TikTok first, and then I was like, this girl needs to have a podcast, just the way she talks. And then I found out she had a podcast, and I was like, this is amazing. So those are my 2 tops.
Help us out. Go over on their pages and say they should do a collab with ThreadTalk podcast so that Teresa can.
I don't even know if I would
fun.
want to do a collab. I have way too much anxiety to do a collab. No way I would want to do a collab. I mean, I would love to. I would be honored, but I would be way too nervous. Do you listen to any podcasts?
Pulp MX. They are like a radio show that reviews the Supercross and motocross races, and they go live every Monday for like a 5-hour radio show. They bring in riders for like guests, and it's always great. I called in one time, I remember, and I told a story about one of the riders from my childhood, and they said it was such a great story, and they gave me a free neck brace, and I've been using that ever since. I called in another time. I didn't win anything, but it was great. So I like that. People can call in, they can ask questions to the riders, and then if you miss the episode, you can just listen to it on Apple Podcasts, and that's what I did. And one other time I listened to a podcast that was produced or sponsored by BMW or something. And it was kind of like an audiobook. It was like a mini series. It was like a mini Netflix series, audiobook version for like podcasts. Because those are out there. That was kind of cool.
Very cool.
Forget what that one was about. Yeah. All right. Next Q&A question. How did Denver's parents decide on his name? I am from Denver, Colorado. My daughter pointed out that your sister's name is Madison, which is another city in the States. I've had that question for a long time, but since you opened up for a little Q&A, do you know this story?
Well, I'm going to let you say it. I'm
just wondering if you know this story.
Well, I don't really know a story. I just know that your mom liked to name you guys after states.
Yeah.
Or cities.
My grandmother, my mom's mom, for some reason, my mom let her mom name Catherine Caitlin. Got to name her Caitlin. My sister Kat is actual named Caitlin, but then she legally changed her name to Catherine. And my mom hated that name. She hated Caitlin. So she decided on the next one, she's going to do what she wants. My mom lives in the States, so Madison got Madison after Madison, Wisconsin. And I was a toying cost between Dallas and Denver.
Dallas.
And she was very happy she went with Denver because there's lots of other Dallases out there.
Yeah, but I like Dallas too.
I like Denver.
No, I love Denver. Denver is very unique. I've never heard of the name Denver before I met you.
If we have kids, can we keep it going and name them after states too? Cities?
Sure.
Cities?
Sure.
And then when I was in elementary school, in like grade 4 or something, I went to a public school, and then in grade 2, I got expelled and I got homeschooled for a little bit. And then she put me into public school for grade 3, and she found out that there's another kid in my grade named Denver.
Really?
Yeah, she lost it.
Wow,
She
that's
was
pretty cool.
Pissed.
Oh,
Not happy. She wanted me to have a unique name. She wanted me to be the only kid in the
Yeah.
school with my name.
that's so funny.
No, she didn't want there to be any confusion about who the frig Denver was. When she walked into the school to say, "Oh, I'm here to pick up Denver," the teachers and the school staff, they would automatically know who she's talking about.
Yeah.
And now she has to say both names.
Denver
So I remember her not being happy about that.
That's funny.
Yes. So that is our Q&A segment. It has come and gone.
Hopefully the next story, oh my God, the next episode we film has a lot of questions because, guys, it's currently December 16th when we're filming this, and this is being released January 7th.
This is the last full episode we're bulking, right?
Because, yeah, we're bulking for Christmas, you guys know. So
our Q&A segment is going to be an hour. It's going to be a podcast.
It's going to be a podcast by for real.
We're going to have to like push some of the comments so we don't take so long. Or
yeah, I might have to split it up.
Or rapid fire them.
Yeah. Well,
I got no life updates.
We get no comments?
We'll get some. We got no life updates for you because we
just filmed yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before.
Yesterday was Patreon. Last Tuesday episode was 2 days ago. What has happened between now and Saturday? What did we do yesterday?
We went for brunch.
That was a good brunch.
We finished our Christmas shopping.
We did finish some Christmas shopping. I got your mom her present. I got your uncle's present. That's not a good present. I had to return and get another present, but I got my stocking stuffer.
Yep.
I got myself some underwear.
We're going to Mont Tremblant this week.
We are going to Mont Tremblant. We're leaving Friday. That's exciting.
We're going skiing. Woo!
Yay.
Down the slopes. It's going to be really freaking cold there. Like
negative
minus 20
craziness.
Celsius. Yeah, we won't have updates for you until, well, it'll be next week for you guys.
We'll have updates for you on Tuesday.
Oh my God, we're going to have so many updates next week. We're going to have so many Q&As.
It's going to be a 3-hour episode. It's going to be like an hour dedicated to Q&A and updates.
Maybe we shouldn't even read any Reddit stories next week.
Would you guys like that?
No.
A whole episode with no stories?
No, we're not doing that.
Denver and Teresa's bullshit?
No, I don't think they care enough to listen to that.
I agree. All right. Well, we love you guys. Appreciate you guys for coming. Oh, you know what I haven't mentioned in a long time? YouTube members, there's a YouTube members section. It's 99 cents a month and you get early access to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Haven't mentioned that in forever.
Yes.
And don't forget to get you some ThreadTalk t-shirts and hats. We got a new fuzzy beanie hat. ThreadTalk came in for my dad.
Yep. We got our family some merch. By the time this releases, they already have it.
So, yeah.
Got some hats, got some crew necks, and we got some great feedback that the quality is actually really good.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that because we wanted the quality to be good, like thick sweaters. So
comfy. All right. See you later. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody later.
Bye.
Bye.